Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Tarble Arena for the second and final night of our Division III Men's Volleyball National Championship. We have got the Springfield College Pride taking on the host Carthage College Firebirds. This place is packed and we are ready for a tremendous national championship this evening. Springfield advanced to the Final Four last night with a win over Stevens Institute of Technology. They leaned heavily on the three-headed monster trio of Brennan Brandow, Jarrett Anderson, and who you will see here, Liam York. Their night was capped off with a big kill from Nate Reynolds to finish the match 3-0 and advance to their first national title match since 2018. And they will meet the Carthage College Firebirds, reigning national champions after an undefeated season. They took on Wentworth Institute of Technology in their Final Four matchup. Carter Schmidt got things started off early, but the man of the hour was big Zach Boltice, who dominated the match on both sides of the ball. They closed this match out in 3 sets as well to return to the national championship after last year's win and create one of the most anticipated matchups in the history of our sport. My name's Rob Wingert, head coach of men's and women's volleyball at Misericordia University, and tonight I am joined by none other than Evan Giglio, head coach of Wentworth Institute of Technology men's volleyball program. Evan, welcome back to the broadcast.
Thank you so much. I was a little preoccupied yesterday playing in the semifinals myself, but I'm happy to join you. If I can't be playing with my guys, I'm happy to be in the booth with you, Rob.
I'd say I'd rather be on the sideline too, but this isn't a bad consolation. Evan, you've had a chance to see both of these teams. Carthage last night, Springfield earlier in the season. Who are some names we should be looking out for in this match?
You know, both these teams, I always think, Rob, people said they've been on a collision course all year in the national finals with all the talent they have. You know, I think we know the big names with Brandow and Anderson for Springfield. Liam York made a really big impression in the semifinal match. I think they're going to look to lean on him pretty heavy in this set as well for Springfield.
I think one big question I'm looking for, I mentioned it before your match yesterday, not to open any old wounds, but can this Springfield middle tandem slow down the offensive production of Zach Boltice and David Marcus?
That's going to be a tall task. Those dudes are big, and as big as they look on film, when you're playing them live, they're even bigger. Carthage does a really good job of moving those guys with some different patterns. You look like they're going one way, they run a push the other, and Carthage does a really good job of not only using those guys, but finding them in space, so they have some one-on-ones, some one-on-nones, and their size is really, really tough to deal with.
And you're hearing us toss out a lot of names if you're listening at home. I'm going to give you a fun fact. 13 of the 14 starters in this match have been honored as AVCA All-Americans at one point in their career. Evan, have you ever seen a collection of talent like this, not just in a national championship, but in a match of any standing?
You know, Springfield and Carthage both over the last 4 or 5 years have led the country in All-American nominations. And you're seeing some guys come back for a 5th year, more guys on the roster, more guys have gotten honors, a lot of success on both sides of the net.
Carthage with 6 All-Americans this year, led by setter Gene McNulty, outsides Matt Slavinsky. Springfield, no slouch of their own, 4 All-Americans, including the National Player of the Year in Jarrett Anderson. Do you think Carthage has seen a right side with his kind of dynamism?
Nobody's seen a right side like Jarrett Anderson because it doesn't exist at the D3 level besides Jarrett Anderson. He's one of a kind. Lefty, really aggressive, really fast tempo ball that they run further inside than most teams see. So it's going to be interesting how Carthage deals with Anderson. Not a lot of guys have had success slowing him down this year or in his career period.
And beyond the athletes matching up on the floor, we have one of the best coaching matchups you can imagine. Charlie Sullivan, head coach of Springfield College, the unquestioned GOAT of our sport, taking on J.W. Kiefer in his 2nd full season here at Carthage. He's 1 for 1 right now, trying to go 2 for 2.
You know, Coach Sullivan has been at Springfield since, I think, 1972. Has been there for quite some time. So he's had a lot of success, seen a lot of national championships. JW has Carthage firing on all cylinders right now. They played great last night against a really, really strong Wentworth team.
That Wentworth team was unbelievable this year.
Pretty good. You know, in my unbiased opinion, they're pretty great. Okay, and so I think that they're playing their best volleyball, and that's what you want to do late in the season. In April, you want to feel good about your effort, your execution, and culminates in a national championship match.
This is our 10th national championship for men's volleyball in the NCAA era. It started in 2012 with Carthage on the road taking on Springfield, and here we are 10 years later with Springfield on the road to take on Carthage College. Pretty cool bookends for our first decade as an NCAA-sponsored championship.
I was sitting I was sitting in the front row of the stands of that first championship match at Springfield.
And let's talk about how those teams got here. Springfield with wins over perennial powers, SUNY New Paltz and Stevens to get here. Carthage taking down Dominican, one of the top teams in the country all year long. And as we mentioned, a really tough Wentworth squad last night to set up, in my estimation, what is our most anticipated national final since probably 2016.
Well, I think with COVID shortened year last year, some teams not playing, it being a little bit smaller, Springfield missed out on the opportunity to play in the national championship in the NCAA tournament, losing to Wentworth on the final day of Wentworth season, and Wentworth got that at-large bid. So I think Springfield's really hungry now. Say, hey, we didn't get a chance to defend, to be in the national championship, to be in the tournament last year. So they're definitely ready to roll.
And the last piece of preview we have to talk about, Evan. You've coached a lot of volleyball matches and watched a lot more. Have you ever seen an environment like this for a Division III men's volleyball matchup?
I'm telling you, I thought it was pretty electric in here last night. I think tonight's going to be a whole different beast. This has a feel of like a big-time NCAA Division I basketball championship match. It is electric.
We're looking at least 2,500 in the stands here. A number of Carthage alumni. The Springfield fans and supporters have traveled great as well. You know Javi's in the building because it's April volleyball. And this is what the NCAA and Division III athletics is all about. It's providing such a tremendous stage and experience for these student athletes to compete on.
You know, the growth of the sport has been huge over the last few years. Wisconsin has done a really, really good job with Badger Region volleyball. You can see just the alumni in the crowd, the young guys from playing from different clubs that are here. And this is a great opportunity to say, hey, here's the best volleyball we can offer. This is what it looks like. This is what competing at the highest level really is.
And speaking of this electric atmosphere, we need to shoot a huge thank you and shout out to Carthage College. They have been tremendous hosts all weekend long, putting on an absolutely fantastic championship experience. And these student athletes, win or lose, is something they're going to remember for the rest of their lives.
Carthage, it's very clear that they pride themselves on providing a good experience. They take athletics very seriously. And it's just great to see because ultimately it benefits the student athletes, and that's why we're here.
We are almost underway. We have our officials doing their final checks, teams sharing their final thoughts with each other, and we have some fans in the stands that are ready to see some volleyball. I feel like this place is going to erupt on the first point of the match either way.
I think there's going to be a lot of, you might hear it on the mic is what I'm saying, right? You might hear some fans interject. We got Springfield on our left. We got Carthage in every other direction. And I really think it's going to be a great night for volleyball.
We even have the Carthage mascot in the building. I'm not sure of his name, but we got a Firebird running around out here. Carter Schmidt will get things underway with our first server. Schmidt's jump serve finds Robles. Lily, backside to Anderson, finds the outside hand of the Slavinsky block.
And you're going to see that a lot, right? Lily's pushed that way a little bit. It's a really fast set, really quick, and just uses the outside hand.
I would say it's even more of a C ball than a D ball with how far inside they run that.
Absolutely.
Into the match to serve, we have Giancarlo Caron. He was used yesterday as a serving sub. He's got a nice top spin. He attacks Cohan, passed well. McNulty, Boltice on the float, and the Tarbell Arena faithful erupt.
So what they did there, Boltice runs that push. Looks like he's coming straight at the setter in front of two blockers. They just push him just past Parker, and he's able to see some open space.
And when you have that 6'6" solid frame of Boltice, he has so much range and patience to let that ball come across his body and turn into zone 1.
He's 6'6", but he plays like he's 6'10". He is just a monster at the net.
Easton Gavin with the float serve. Lilly with the peekaboo dump, picked up by Gavin. Out of system set to Slavinsky. The set goes over, so the swipe is ineffective. Lilly forced a free ball. Set to the Bick. Touched by Parker. Dug out by Brandow at the net. They go back to Anderson again. Hard angle swing from Anderson, and that is a great early match rally.
Yeah, a little bit of defense. Great touch by Parker. Solo one-on-one on that Bick. Looks like he just hit it. Schmidt hit it straight. Right up Parker's hands, positive touch, and Springfield, like they usually do, getting kills in transition when you give them good opportunities.
I've watched Springfield run 3 practices this week, and all week long they've talked about being patient and sealing on that Bick, and that's exactly what we saw from Parker there to get the touch. Matt Lilly enters a jump serve. Cohan passes. McNulty out to Slavinsky. Oh, butter that roll, Evan. Butter that roll.
Look, Slavinsky has about a 73-inch vertical. He's at the top of the pin. He hammers the ball. When he throws that little roll shot at you and it follows, you got to just say, hey, good shot. We'll take it.
If that's how he wants to score, I think you're going to live with it, like you said. Weeder's jump serve finds the tape. Lilly one-hand delivery. Parker throws it just wide. And the Firebirds have their first lead of the night at 3-2.
It looks like almost every serve has been on Musa Robles so far. I don't know if that's the scout. I think they're probably going to try to attack that seam between York and Musa Robles. Let's see if they move it off. There it is.
York with the hand pass, fired back to Parker, and Mean Gene McNulty with the one-on-one stuff.
Mean Gene. I love that. You can see what Carthage does. They completely, the middle just bailed. He's like, Gene, you got it. I'm gonna go worry about Anderson.
And that's a great read from Gene. He's responsible for 2 hitters there. Saw something from Lilly's hand placement that he knew the ball was going to the middle. Brandow swings high, but chased down by Cohan. Out of system, slivs over top of the block, terminal swing.
Great high aggressive swing. Springfield in rotation 1. As much as Anderson is involved in the match, he's not a favorite in row 1. So that condenses the court just a little bit.
And Springfield takes an early timeout. They trail 2-5. Evan, you fell behind against the Firebirds early yesterday. What were some keys that helped you guys battle back into the match and try to study your guys down?
Well, I think you got to understand that Carthage is so dynamic, right? So if they get a positive touch off the block and they're able to get a swing in transition, it's going to be a good swing, right? So you got to make sure your first contact is really strong. And if you're not going to score, you got to put Carthage in a tough position. You can't let them get a free ball or an easy trans ball because they're going to run that middle big combo at you. And then also Slavinsky's front row, so there's just too many guys to worry about. So if you're making it easy for them to score, then they're going to take advantage of that, and it's going to be no problem.
As long as Slavinsky can be set a second ball, I don't think there's an out-of-system dig that truly exists for this Carthage team. So Springfield looks like they're trying to get the middles involved early. We've seen Parker take a few swings. They went backside to Brandow. If you're Coach Sullivan, what are you telling Matt Lilly you want to do on a perfect pass right now?
Yeah, maybe if it's a perfect pass situation, run York on the Vic. If not, go back to Brandow. Maybe they move him a little further inside and see if Slavinsky either blows past the block, but it all starts with the first contact. And let's see if Musa Robles kind of stacks out York and serve receive and takes up a little more court.
It looks like we have a traditional lineup, and I would expect to see Weeder's serve go on to York. It does find York, a good pass. They go backside to Brandow. He goes high off Slavinsky's hands. Ball goes just deep of the end line. That's a great high swing by Brandow there.
Yeah, so twice Springfield scored, once with Anderson, once with Brandow. You use the outside hand of Slavinsky, right? Obviously, you got to hit it way up there, but that's where they've scored early on.
Big serve from Brandow, goes just wide. That's a free side out for the Firebird. And folks, you're going to see a lot of missed serves tonight.
Don't yell at your TV when these teams miss their serves. All right, we're going to talk about percentages after the first set of what is an acceptable range. Don't worry, it's okay they missed some serves.
Slavinsky absolutely hammers one, but it goes just deep. And the Pride earn a second straight side out. And now we have Nate Reynolds entering the match for the first time as Chris Parker heads back to serve.
Chris Parker, every single guy on Springfield jump serves. Chris Parker can definitely go on a run back here.
Parker attacks Cohan. McNulty to Boltice, touched by Parker, picked up by Anderson. York swinging out of system, brings it down too low into the Marcus McNulty block.
Yeah, Marcus, new this year, big addition for them in the middle. He's made a big difference. He's pretty dominant up there.
And if I'm Liam York, I got to think about keeping that ball high. You're such a vertical athlete. There's no reason for you to bring your swing down into the block.
Yeah, every once in a while, you're just trying to erase a 3-point deficit with one swing.
Brandow with the pass. Lilly outside to York, over top, dug by Weeder. McNulty out to Schmidt, triple block, but we have a net call on Springfield. So that will be a kill for Schmidt and a point for the Firebirds.
Yeah, they had that defended perfectly, just unfortunately got caught in the net.
And I think you're prone to see that more often early in the match. These guys are jazzed up. They're trying to make that big play, and their block moves just a little bit too aggressive and not controlled enough. Marcus, jump serve on a Robles. Lilly, back to Anderson. Dug by Weeder, chased down. Boltice sends a free ball.
Repeat.
Evan, you know a thing or two about this game.
I might have scouted Anderson a few times in my day. Not that I've ever stopped him, but they like that set, right? That fast, that ball is so fast, right? It's almost a back 1.5. Really hard to stop.
Jared Anderson, the national leader in aces per set, back to the line. Goes down the line at Cohan. Blocked, but not on the right side. That is a kill for Carter Schmidt. Evan, it seems like a lot of Springfield serves are finding Kyle Cohan. Not something you want to be doing from the service line, in my opinion.
I can tell you for a fact that's not what they want to do, having lived it yesterday. He is one of the nation's best passers, if not the best passer.
And that's the reason he's a first-team All-American. Lilly goes to Reynolds. He goes with a tip. And Slavinsky detonates on a bick as Gene McNulty waves goodbye to that ball as it goes out of bounds.
It's a tough sequence for Springfield in that they get a perfect pass. It goes a tip right to the libero. You know he's going to make the play. And then, again, a perfect free ball situation is Carthage is going to terminate.
A second timeout for Springfield. If you are Coach Sullivan, clearly you wanted to get the middles involved early and often, but a main amount of your offensive production has been Jared Anderson. How do you get these other guys going a bit?
So I think what Springfield needs to do probably is get it going behind the service line. That's how they can dominate. So they got to move the ball off the lib, start going in some seams, see if they target Carter Schmidt or maybe the front row outside, right? Make the front row outside, whoever that is, pass, and that can sometimes cut off a few lanes. But right now, their service pressure, I don't want to say it's non-existent, but it's not at the typical levels they're used to bullying people with.
And if I'm Coach Keycaper, you can see that the Springfield middles are waiting on this pick. They're being so patient with that initial middle attack. If I'm talking to Gene McNulty, I'm saying, Gene, let's get the middles going. Let's keep them running. Boltice had the kill early on. Marcus got dug out one time. But I'd pump those guys up and then just start trading bick middle, back and forth.
Yeah, I don't think that Carthage has to make too many adjustments offensively right now. What they've done is work for them. You just got to reiterate to your hitters, when we get in those medium situations, let's make sure we're swinging high and aggressive, right? We saw York kind of bring one down on an out-of-system play, right? Hey, tell Carter Schmidt, hey, I know you got blocked on that triple. That was a little bit low. Let's make sure we're swinging high off the hands so we're not in those tough situations.
Those young Carthage fans enjoying this hot start. McNulty floats one in. That finds Brandow in the seam. Lilly goes up, out to York. He throws it off the hands, but it's dug out by Weeder. McNulty out to Schmidt, finds high hands, dug by Robles after the block touch. Brandow comes through on the bick, and Brennan Brandow, he might have the most electric arm in the gym tonight.
Brandow has been an All-American for a long time, right? He's always been a huge factor for Springfield. We were watching in warm-ups. You said he just plays effortless out there. Just a great arm, really smart. He's got all the shots.
Liam York, jump serve on to Slavinsky. Firebirds a bit out of system. They go backside to Schmidt, and Reynolds and Brandow get our first block of the match for the Pride, something they did really well last night.
Sure, so Springfield, a really, really strong blocking team. In rotation 1, Carthage likes to go to Schmidt here. They don't typically set the ball outside in the rotation very often. Let's see if they run both ice on a 3 and try to spread the block out a little bit.
York serve catches the tape. They go out to Weeder. Nobody home, Evan!
Peyton Weeder, he gets the most one-on-nones in the gym, and I'm telling you, every time he does that, he hammers.
Peyton Weeder, some guys say, hey, it's nice when you only have to see 2 hands. Peyton Weeder typically looking at none as he detonates that ball, and we're going to have to talk to our folks at Sport Court about maybe a repair between sets. Brandau's dug out. Reynolds throws the overpass down as Springfield's starting to settle in with their side-out offense right now.
That ball might have been going out of bounds. It looked like it went in between the seam and the block, but right to 6. Had the defenders coming right at Slavinsky, and point for Springfield.
When you have an attacker the quality of Brandau, it's kind of tough to assume that he might make an error, and you just might be defaulting that. There was probably a touch on that ball. Giancarlo, nice serve on to Schmidt. Second straight overpass, touched by Slavinsky, but not enough. And Giancarlo is fired up after that one.
So what I said earlier, Springfield's going to bully behind the service line. Any one of these guys can do it, right? It's so important to have a serving sub that can come in and put on pressure, and that's exactly what Giancarlo's doing right now.
Another jump serve, hammers that one as well. Schmidt's pass out of system, bump set from Cohan. Slavinsky with the tip back. Great set, but too far off, so Brandau shovels the free ball over. But Cohan with the overpass, and Brandau. That's 3 straight overpass kills for the Pride.
Some uncharacteristic ball control issues here by Carthage, but again, it starts with the serve, right? They're going after Carter Schmidt, serving aggressive behind the line, and Carthage is now feeling a little bit of pressure for the first time in this set.
These are the 2 top offensive teams in the country, and we are seeing that on full display, not just with the efficiency, but with the absolute cannon swings from all these guys out here.
And with Carthage in rotation 2, they can't pass 4. So number 7, Weeder, steps back a lot in serve receive. He can't do that in this situation. They got to pass with 3.
And that's some great scouting work from Coach Sullivan, having his serving sub during that portion. A miss will be a welcome sight for Firebird fans as they side out, and their lead is now doubled. They're up 12-10. Second straight serving sub enters the match. That is Easton Gavin. Evan, last time Easton was in, he put a tough ball in, made a dig. What more can you ask for from your serving subs?
Nothing. He's, he did that against us last night as well. Great serve, came back with a tremendous dig flying around the court. When guys can contribute in whatever role they have, it's just a huge boost.
York with the nice hand pass. They go out to Brandau. And Evan, in my professional opinion, I would block Brennan Brandau when they set him.
It's typically better to jump and try to block when the ball is on the net, especially when you got a 4-time All-American in the front row.
I'm not sure if Weeder's feet got mixed up or if he thought the angle was too tough, but an athlete of Brandau's caliber can create so many angles for himself with that explosiveness. Lily's jump serve onto Slavinsky, ceiling, back down. McNulty bump sets, Slavinsky hard court cross. Onto Robles, one-handed dig up off the rafters. McNulty handles it with his hands, brings Weeder in. Jumbo tip dug out by Robles again. Backside to Anderson, he catches Cohan high, and that's a kill down the line for Jared Anderson as Springfield knocks us up at 12.
Really good play, a lot of defense here. Again, they love Anderson in transition. When Lily's on that half of the court, it's so fast, but that's what they want to do, and Anderson with a great swing deep line.
Lilly does a tremendous job of staying in tempo as he reverses the flow on that ball. This serve onto Cohan. They go to Marcus, and he sides out. Evan, we see the serve fall back on Cohan there. Everyone's running system. They get the middle re-involved.
Right. You want to stay away from Cohan as much as possible. Clearly their best passer, doesn't miss too much. And that's what Carthage wants to do, get a perfect pass, find their middles in some space.
And that's why Kyle Cohan was a first-team All-American this year.
Absolutely.
York with another pass. This one, Brandau goes high, dug out by Schmidt. They go out to Slavinsky, over the top, down the line. That is a tough swing to defend.
Brandau thought the ball was out of bounds. I don't think he's had anybody hit the ball over him this year and in. He was convinced that was out, and that was in by a large margin.
As a pretty big blocker myself back in the day, I can sympathize with that feeling.
As a small blocker in my day, I know it well.
Anderson gets the ball in rotation 1, the lefty on the outside with the side out for the Pride.
Maybe a little bit against Scout, but they got stuck in that rotation last time, right? So, hey, it didn't work for us in row 1 the last time around. Let's throw something a little bit different, something they might not think is going to happen.
But what you also see him do is they ran him on a little bit of an inside route to create some different angles for him with that left hand.
Fast, is on you quick. Your block is a little bit late.
Brandow misses the serve, and we now have Matt Slavinsky, the second-ranked player in the country in aces percent. We have some absolutely thunderous arms from the service line here tonight.
I don't think Slavinsky goes for a zone. He's just trying to rip.
And rip away he does. That is Matt's first ace of the night. Last year in the national title match, Evan, I'm pretty sure he missed his first 5 or 6 serves when he's back there, so he's got to be happy to get off to a good start tonight.
Yeah, you know, his serve, while really deadly, sometimes he gets a little bit out of whack. It's a really, really high toss. Sometimes that can create some timing issues, but when he connects, it's deadly.
Another great serve, this one handled by York. They go back out to York. He goes high, touched by McNulty, but covered. Lilly with the reverse back set, rolled high. Weeder digs it out. McNulty squeezes Marcus. Dug out. Robles lays out to pick it up. Short free ball. Marcus handles. McNulty out to Schmidt. Parker late on the block, and that is 3 straight for the Firebirds now.
Too many tips, right? You got to find a way to get swings, free balls, tips over, eventually on either side, right? You do that too often, someone's going to get a big rip.
Coach Sullivan's out of timeouts. What are the chances we see some gamesmanship? I feel like a Springfield shoelace might come loose soon.
Yeah, right? Like they get stuck here, someone's definitely untying their shoe.
Or maybe a sweat spot on
the floor.
the floor.
Yeah, so there's wet on the floor.
But they're bailed out. Matt Slavinsky has the error. But if you get 3 or 4 points back there and then make an error, as a coach, you'll take that from your server every time.
So we talked about missed serves a little bit earlier, right? He served 2, he got an ace. They scored the next one, he missed his serve. You go 2 for 1 all match, you're going to win by a large margin. Oh, here's a little slowdown. What do we got?
It looks like we're having a bit of a discussion with Young Park, our down official, and the Carthage bench, and maybe a ball exchange. These guys are working hard, but what you'll see too, these benches are pretty animated. The atmosphere in here is electric, and our officials do a nice job of slowing these matches down and keeping it controlled. And now it actually looks like a blood surge, Evan.
Well, you said they were going to slow the game down somehow. I don't know if this is what they planned, but you can't have blood on the court.
And the Carthage faithful are taking a chance to encourage their birds with this break, and it looks like we are back to playing. It had to be a small cut of some kind.
Well, maybe this was the slowdown that Springfield wanted. I don't know. They asked for it, but you said, let's slow it down, so let's see how Parker responds.
If Charlie Sullivan can make a Carthage player bleed from the other sideline, he's a wizard.
That's impressive.
Slavinsky D-ball finds the line. What an impressive swing from Matt Slavinsky.
So this is one of the wrinkles that Carthage puts in. Slavinsky usually on the pipe. So now we're going to condense the block, condense the block, condense the block. Uh-oh, here he comes on the D-ball. You didn't see it coming, and now he's got some room to work.
Matt relocates and moves around as well as any hitter in the country.
I don't think there's a ball he couldn't swing at.
And that's a great scheme from Coach Geekafer. Brandow handles the Marcus serve. York goes high, touch, Weeder with the dig. Marcus throws it up out of system. And Carter Schmidt tools the block off Reynolds' hands. And Carthage back in a comfortable spot now, leading 19-14.
Really great out-of-system high swing, right? High off the hands. That's either going to be a recycle back on Carthage's side or a point off the hands like he just got.
Reynolds, his left hip is dropping off the net. He's got to square up if he wants that ball to stay in bounds. Lilly, backside to Anderson. Great touch from Schmidt there. McNulty to the Bick, but there's a miscommunication. Short free ball sent over by Anderson, and big Zach Boltice punishes that ball.
That's uncharacteristic for Springfield, not taking advantage of a free ball. Nice overpass. That's just too easy to score on.
Do you think there's a little nerves for Springfield? They don't find themselves behind on the scoreboard very often. The big crowds are normally in their favor. Could they be a little rattled right now?
You know they can, But what Springfield can always do is come back, because behind the service line, they can start to bully you. So it only takes one guy to get rolling.
And speaking of rolling, Brennan Brandow rolls right down the middle and hits a bick of his own to score for the Pride. That sends Jared Anderson back to serve. And Anderson, the top server, not just for this Pride team, but in the country. No other guy you're looking to if you want to go on a big run.
His serve really cuts to zone 5.
Good pass by Weeder there. Boltice cut well. Picked up by Brandow. Out of system for York. Goes high, splits the block, but dug out by Weeder. Schmidt goes high. Oh, and Reynolds sends that one back. And Evan, we saw a better press from Nate Reynolds keeping his hip square there.
I think Reynolds was a little upset. He's been getting used a few times here in this first set. He was not going to miss the opportunity there to cap that ball.
I have competed with and against Nate Reynolds. I have coached with and against Nate Reynolds. This young man came to Springfield to win a national title. I talked to him a little bit at practice. He is laser focused on tonight's match.
You know, he's not the most involved in the offense. I think he realizes that he's not going to be a volume guy. So how can I affect the game? How can I be really important, right? I'm going to block pin to pin. I'm going to get positive touches on Boltice and Schmidt, right? I'm not going to let these big guys in the middle take advantage. So I'm going to be a big presence. I'm going to take advantage of the opportunities that I have, and he's doing that defensively.
He has such a rare combination of size and athleticism. A true 6'8", and the ability, like you said, to get side to side so quickly. All these athletes on the floor, you don't see a lot of guys at this level who move, play, and execute the game the way these guys do.
Yeah, and that's absolutely. It's why, you know, Springfield is one of the top blocking teams in the country, and he's got something to do with that.
Anderson serve, finds Schmidt. McNulty out of system, tosses up the high ball. This one goes into Lilly, but it's covered. And Coach Sullivan pretty animated there, but gets the call. I'm not sure if it was a net or an under, but whatever it was, he was sure of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure that ball made it over the net. I think Young Park signaled 4, and we got a timeout coming for Carthage.
So the first timeout for the Firebirds tonight. Coach Kiefer and his squad still have a 3-point lead, but we're seeing the Springfield block get a little bit more involved. If you are addressing your team right now, what are some key points you would hit on?
So what I think you got to understand, Anderson behind the service line. That ball's going to cut pretty aggressively, probably towards Carter Schmidt, who's the front row outside. You got to tell Carter, hey, let's make sure we pass this ball first. Let's get a good ball, good in-system pass, and then everything becomes a little bit easier. If they get the ball to Schmidt, he's got Lilly and Reynolds in front of him. Probably want to try to use a high line, or if they're in system and fast, use the seam. I wouldn't be surprised when Carthage gets in trouble, they find a way to get the ball to Slavinsky, whether that's from the pipe on a perfect pass, or maybe they see the D ball, right, running behind. When they get in trouble, they want to go to Sliv, right? He's their guy. He gets the most attempts. He gets the big swings. So I wouldn't be surprised coming on this timeout if they can try to find a way to involve him.
And he's currently pressed out of receive, so no chance for the serve to take him out and shorten up his transition. They've got all the options available. If you're Coach Sullivan, you love the way this lines up, though. Kyle Cohan passing from right back. You've got Weeder and Schmidt in center and left back, and you're just telling Anderson, like you said, continue ripping across the
So the adjustment here, I thought they might pass 4. What they've done is they've stacked out Schmidt, right? So Schmidt now can just worry about offense, but now there's probably no D-ball, so the court is condensed a little bit. Or you just miss your serve.
And that is a coach's point for Coach Kiefer. Nothing feels better as a head coach than when you take that timeout, you know you froze the server up.
I would tell one of my assistants, write that down on the clipboard, coach's point.
Only time we can get in the box score.
Absolutely.
McNulty, float serve down the line. York takes with hands. An unbelievable C-ball run by Jared Anderson. I thought he was in the front row when I saw the set.
That ball was low and fast, and I thought that might be an off shot or 50%. Anderson's like, nah, I got it. No big deal. Let me just rip this ball down the line.
3-time first-team All-American and current National Player of the Year. Jared Anderson continues to deliver for the Pride when they ask. Liam York, serve finds the net, and Carthage now 3 points away from closing out set 1.
Still a long way to go here, Rob. Like I said, Springfield, any guy behind the service line can go 2 for 1 on you. Let's see if they can get out of this rotation pretty quick.
Schmidt at the line. Jump serve goes cross court on a York, passed well. Out to Brandow, high off hands, covered by Lilly. Out of system set from Robles. Snuck under by Anderson. Out of system swing for Slavinsky. He rolls. Reynolds gets it with some active hands. Back to Slavinsky. He swings hard this time. Finds the wickets off of Reynolds' forearms. And a great transition point for the Firebirds.
It looked like he was going to go cross with that swing, but Sliv likes that high line. That 1-6 seam, found a way to sneak it through there.
I think he saw Reynolds drop that left hand and made the adjustment, found the inside of that forearm. Robles picks up the rope-a-dope short serve. Brandow goes high, dug by Cohan. They go Boltice. Boltice tries to throw it back. Reynolds grabs it with that big right paw. And Evan, I know you've got a young son at home. This is a really important moment. We've got a 23-19. Do you know what that means?
I do not.
It means that there's a sock on one of the monsters from Monsters, Inc. So you'll want to know that one. We've got a 23-19.
All right, good to know. I'll write that down.
Giancarlo, who went on a run for the Pride earlier in this match.
Carthage just letting them know they're not too happy with him.
Serve finds Cohan, but it's out of system. McNulty goes out. Slavinsky with an unorthodox arm swing. Out of system set from Giancarlo. Brandow tools the block as the Pride reach the 20-point mark.
Brandow's doing a really good job of not swinging exactly where he's facing. Right there, he was a little bit early, saw the high outside hand, wait, chip, and that's just a really smart swing. Easy point, we call that free hands in our gym.
So much range on that Brandow arm. Giancarlo's serve finds the net, and Carthage has their first set point as the Firebird faithful are on their feet in Tarbell. Easton Gavin will enter to serve for the Firebirds. His float serve has been going after York. York's been able to handle it with his hands. The slow clap begins. This one on to Brandow, passed well. See ball to Anderson, and Anderson said, Easton, thanks for coming, but I've packed your lunch.
That's maybe the fourth kill down the line for Anderson. And Carthage has that scouted a little bit differently, and Anderson's definitely taking advantage of it. And that's just a great shot. Really, really hard to stop.
Matt Lilly back at the service line. He's served in big moments like these back in 2018. Good jump serve, catches the ceiling. Cohan out of system, goes high to Slavinsky. Slavinsky rolls, picked up by York. Parker out of system, high off hands by Brandow, dug again. McNulty to Marcus, and Marcus closes the first set for the Firebirds as they now lead this national championship 1-0.
That was a great swing to end the set, but I love the defense in the back row even better. What a great dig by Schmidt, right in the middle of the court, easy one-on-one. Marcus has been scoring on that play all year.
These Carthage outsides leverage their athleticism on the defensive side of the ball so much, chasing down balls that you typically might not see them pick up. We have head coach J.W. Kiekefer here for the first set. Coach Kiekefer, the offense is firing on all cylinders. Talk about what you're seeing from your guys in terms of execution right now.
Yeah, Springfield brings a lot of heat from the baseline, and I think from time to time they've been able to crack the serve receive that we've had that's been super consistent all year, but really proud of our guys to keep their platforms away from their bodies and just stay composed. When we can pass the ball, this offense is just really tough to stop. You were talking about our outsides athleticism in the backcourt, and Carter Schmidt dug a great ball there, but the ability to pass the ball and hit that pick over the top makes our offense tough to stop.
So far, Anderson's pacing the offense for Springfield.
Yeah.
How do you guys slow them down here in the second set?
There's a reason he's the National Player of the Year, man. He's pretty talented. They get that ball back to him really, really fast. I think they set him on the first ball, and Sliv comes back and he goes, boy, that's really fast. And I was like, yeah, it is. So we're trying to just stay inside of him a little bit here. That gets back there fast, and we got to do a better job of stopping inside and having good hands. Easton Gavin almost made an incredible dig there at the end. That would have been awesome. But he's good. We're good, too, and we just got to keep playing offense.
Thanks, Coach Kiekefer.
Yep,
We are back here live from Tarbell Arena, headed for set 2 action the Carthage College Firebirds currently lead the Springfield Pride 1-0. Evan, we had a chance to look at the box score. What are some standout numbers that you think we need to talk to the folks at home about?
Really interesting from Springfield. Brennan Brandow and Jared Anderson combined 13 kills, no errors on 25 swings. That's unbelievable offensive production from their top two guys.
With that being said, I think we might see Matt Lilly try to get Liam York involved a little bit more on some in-system opportunities to get him going on the offensive side of the ball.
Liam York is way too dynamic to not have a kill, one kill at least on 7 swings.
We are about to be underway. We have Giancarlo carry on. Jump serve on to Schmidt. Overpass. Brandow terminates. Cohan kept it alive though. Anderson picks up the short free ball. Back out to Brandow. He tips high. Shoveled back in by Schmidt. And Kyle Cohan take a bow, keeping that point alive.
You know, we get so caught up, and I just talked about the offensive numbers. And then you see a defensive play like this, right, where you just get an unbelievable dig on an overpass, able to keep it alive and score the point. Just great defense.
And a huge momentum changer for the Firebirds. Lilly back out to Brandow a bit early, but once again, we see Brandow attack the outside hand of the Carthage block there.
Yeah, it's a little bit, I don't know if that ball is designed to be a little bit slower, but that's how it's coming out. And Brandow maybe knows that. He's jumping early to bait the block, but it's a really, really smart swing, and he's used it 3 or 4 times this match, and it's worked every time.
Matt Lilly's jump serve catches the net. Free side out for the Firebirds. And back to serve will be our second serving sub. Gavin Easton returns into the match. I'm sorry, Easton Gavin. A little bit of first name, last name syndrome there, Evan.
Whoops.
Easton floats one in. His serve catches the tape. And that is now 2-2 as Brennan Brandow rotates to the back row. That'll be a welcome side for the Firebirds.
Yeah, he's been really, really strong offensive. We talked in the first set, hey, we're going to talk about some missed serves. Okay, in set 1, Carthage made over 90% of their serves while putting on heat. That's really, really strong.
Weeder with a great pass. Schmidt airmails that Bick. Oh no, there's a touch on that ball.
Springfield looks a little confused.
We're going to get a replay here, and we're seeing that ball.
Ooh.
Looked like it cleared the block to me.
It was pretty close, but I think because it didn't have natural spin coming off the hand, they think they saw a touch.
Oh, Parker absolutely punishes the ball to zone 1. That's the float run we saw from Bull Tice earlier. Springfield runs one of their own.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot on the Carthage side, and Parker said, hey, I can do that too. Let me get involved in the offense and put it down.
A mainly defensive middle, Parker has a fast arm. His serve finds the net, and we've got a little bit of a disjointed start here, Evan.
So Springfield, we said, hey, they can miss some serves, but right now, they're only making about 70% of their serves. Ideally, with their aggressive jump servers, they want to be closer to about 80%. So they're a little bit under what their average is.
And I think that high error rate is something we're seeing because they're working so hard to keep the ball off Cohan. Great pass from Brandow. Backside, blocked and covered. Lilly forced a free ball over, picked up by Weeder. They go to the Bick, 2 up. Robles digs it out. Lilly all the way across, bump set to the Bick. That one finds some hands, and that is tremendous transition offense from Springfield there.
Not a typical play. They got caught a little bit out of system, but a great swing in really a non-traditional type of situation.
And that's a great touch from Matt Lilly. Can't see your outside, but you trust that if you put it high in the center of the floor, you're going to watch him make a play.
Sullivan's working Young Park here a little bit, slowing the game down. Said it's been a little bit disjointed. Find a way to slow it down, let your server take a breath before goes back there and rips.
Coach Sullivan and Young Park shared many conversations over the years, I'm sure. Anderson, tough jump serve, handled well by Cohan. Set to Schmidt, high off the hands. Another great use of the block by Carter Schmidt there.
It's really hard to defend that shot. Like, you don't want to pull your libero directly behind the block. You don't want to take your middle back too far off center, but that is one of Carter Schmidt's favorite shots. So maybe you're going to see a small adjustment by middle back, taking a step to his left.
Marcus, good serve, handled well by Brandow. Out to York. York tries to go line, overturns it. And for the first time in this set, we have 2 points of separation as Carthage wins 6-4.
York, in theory, has the matchup, right? He's got the setter, not that Gene is small, but York is so offensive that he should be able to hit that high line shot. Just over-rotates a little bit, hits that ball out of bounds.
Looks like he's trying to do a little too much with the swing. Just needs to let the ball come to him and take what the set gives him. Brennan Brandow, another tremendous big run. He has answered for the Pride time and time again tonight.
Yeah, I think you're just going to see a heavy dose here going forward of Brandow's looking good, Anderson's looking good. Let's just keep trying to feed the ball to those guys as much as possible.
York, jump serve, finds Weider. They go to Bull Tice. Reynolds meets him high, covered, sent over by Slavinsky on the free ball. Robles picks it up. Back to Anderson. They left a lot of line. Cohan picks it up and chased down. And that is a point. That was a really shifted block from the Firebirds there, Evan.
Yeah, they're trying to cheat a little bit. Good effort there. Slavinsky almost dove right into the pole. Just missed. You can see on the replay here, a lot of hustle. Almost dangerous.
He is such an explosive athlete. Even after the point's over, we see that athleticism on display. York, another serve, finds the seam of Weider and Schmidt. Set goes out to Schmidt. Oh, Evan! That cut is worthy of a Great Clips haircut clip of the night.
That is nasty. That's a 4-4 specialty right there. Unbelievable shot, sharp angle, inside the block. You don't want to put your defender there. I don't know how you stop that.
And you don't even see a big celebration, which means it's a routine thing for him. You see it every day.
No big deal.
Reynolds gets a swing and puts it away. Nate Reynolds on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, it looks like they're Springfield's involving their middles maybe a little more in this match, trying to keep the offense balanced. So Carthage is maybe not cheating one way or the other, and hey, we got to respect those middles. These guys can score.
And it's especially important when Brandow's in the front row because we see Bull Tice shifting early to try to get that double block up. Giancarlo, heavy serve, just deep. But as the Pride talked about, as we're sure in timeouts, they're trying to keep the ball off Cohan, and it's going to lead to more service errors for them with that precision they're looking for.
We'll see if Sullivan stays with Giancarlo throughout this match. He's had some good serves, looked a little bit off as of recently. They've got some other arms on the bench that are also an option.
York with an excellent pass. Brandow one-on-one, and that ball is stuffed down to the floor, and that is the adjustment they have been looking for with that outside hand.
Right off this outside hand, really strong. You can see that dive a little bit. You've got to have a really strong right hand to make sure that ball stays. Great block.
And I think one-on-one there, Brandow's trying to be too precise going down the line. Might want to take that ball into the cross court since he's got only one set of hands in front of him.
Sure, but it's scored from 4 times in a row, right? So why change if it keeps working for you?
Brandow goes high again, misses everything, and Carthage with another transition point after some net play. Coach Kiekefer is trying to get the fans on their feet here.
He's pretty excited. Riling things up, timeout Springfield.
And that baits the timeout, and this place is rocking, Evan. We just said Brandow had scored on a few points in a row, misses that one long, had an error on a swing before that. If you're Coach Sullivan or Matt Lilly, how are you calming down your star outside right now?
I think they're going to talk a little about tempo, right? Are we too early, in system, out of system? How can we be on the same page so we make sure we're hitting at our peak versus maybe falling away, not as confident on that swing, and then trying to do too much?
And if you are Coach Kiekefer, obviously the adjustments on the block have been pretty effective in these last few points. What are you telling your guys to continue doing?
I think he might say, hey, listen, if they're going to score out of the middle, we're going to concede a few of those points here and there, right? If you can make life tough for Brandow, if we can get some positive touches on Anderson and slow it down, then we're going to concede some points out of the middle. You can't stop everything.
Yes, and we might see Anderson get re-involved here. The first 2 errors of the night from Brennan Brandow. I wouldn't be shocked if Lilly went back to him for a 3rd straight swing, but I also wouldn't be shocked if he went to Anderson. Anyone else sees the ball, I'll be honest, I'd be a little bit surprised.
The match never goes too long without Anderson's name being called. So, like you said, a couple in a row to Brandow, a couple missed opportunities. Maybe the tempo is a little bit different, and let's see if they can get to Anderson going from the back row.
The athletes retake the floor. We have Carter Schmidt at the line. He's serving in. His jump serve goes just deep, and that's a coach's point. Evan, how many coach's points do you think Coach Sullivan has corrected in his career?
Oh, too many to count. He's been doing this for a long time.
He's probably got a season's worth of wins in coach's points alone.
I want to say he's coached for about 22 seasons, if I'm somewhere right around there. Been a long time.
Impressive stuff. Matt Lilly at the line, cuts one onto Schmidt, handled well. They go over top of the middle to the Bick. Schmidt scores off the block there.
I think Boltice thought that ball was his. It looked like he was about to go up and grab it. That's how fast and tight they're running the Bick right now.
And it also shows the skill and preparation work of those Springfield middles not biting on that first ball, recognizing it's probably being sent to the Bick, and the patience for them to get that block touch. Gavin serves that one in. Backside to Brandow, hard cross, dug out by McNulty. Slavinsky high and sneaks it underneath the block, and a great defensive play from Gene McNulty there.
He was sitting on that ball. It came right at him, still got to handle it. Little high swing, brought it down a little bit, found a little seam.
In their practice today, Coach Key Kafer kept telling Gene, when that ball comes in heavy, lean back. And it worked for him there. A great piece of coaching put to use. Parker runs the three ball high off the hands, and we're seeing the middles come back into play again for the Pride.
Again, right, if Springfield's going to score a little bit out of the middle, will we take that versus Brandow being a little uncomfortable, Anderson getting dug, right? Again, you can't stop every single guy out there, and Springfield has not been middle heavy this season, even those guys are plenty capable.
Brandow's toss looks a bit low. His serve goes deep. Peyton Weeder heading back to the line. Carthage leads 13-9. We've seen Weeder's float serve attack York. They've got him shifted over towards the sideline here. Still finds him, a strong hand pass. Backside to Anderson, high off the block, dug by Cohan. Middle run to Marcus, dug out. Lilly chases it down. Robles sends the free ball. Marcus handles. They go to the Bick, rolled over top. Robles with a dig-in system. Back to Anderson, and what a sharp angle from Jared Anderson on that swing.
I think Anderson's a little frustrated. He's not used to guys getting a lot of positive touches on his ball. Right, the last swing was line. Now he's going to cut that ball real sharp inside the 10-foot.
That swing is much tougher than Jared Anderson made it look on that ball.
Absolutely.
Chris Parker at the line, puts one on to Slavinsky. Slavinsky one-on-one, touched by Parker, and it goes just long. If you're a middle, you'll take that touch 9 times out of 10.
You know, what Carthage likes to do when Gene is running forward, and they like that fast tempo right over the middle, and you can see that Reynolds bit with Marcus on that middle, allowed for one-on-one for Schmidt. Or both, excuse me. Slavinsky, there we go.
So many big
They're all
time
good.
hitters.
They're all really good.
Slavinsky's serve goes just deep. Jarrett Anderson heading back to the line. Carthage trailing the match, or Carthage leading the match 1-0, and also leading the set 14-11.
I want to say it's my first mistake, and I haven't looked at the rosters once, so I apologize, fans. I'll keep it tight.
Anderson finds Weeder, a nice serve from him there, and Evan, we've seen Weeder pass really well all night. Kind of his first hiccup on that ball.
His ball from Anderson has so much cut. It looks like it's coming at you, and then all of a sudden it's flying on your left side.
Carthage passing 4 this time. The serve takes Slavinsky out, and the Marcus swing finds the sideline. That is one heck of a swing back from David Marcus.
Musa Robles has been defending a little bit deeper and inside the court, so a lot of balls have come his way. That's the first time I believe he's been beat to his left, but it takes almost a perfect shot because he just kind of put that ball right in between Robles and the sideline.
Especially with his momentum taking him the other way. Lilly loses the joust to Elite 90 winner Zach Boltice. Not only is he an excellent student in the classroom and a great player on the court, but someone who looks like he's pretty familiar with the weight room there.
Yeah, I don't think he skipped a day this year.
We are back here at Charbel Arena, set to action in the Division III Men's Volleyball National Championship. Evan, the atmosphere in this gym, there is a lot of noise we are hearing through our headphones right now.
It is electric. The students are up and dancing, haven't sat down all match, just providing a lot of support. Pretty intense in here.
Marcus jump serve onto Robles. Lily backside to Anderson. Double block, covered, but not enough. And Zach Boltice is starting to make his imprint on this match.
You know, he's had a big hand on both sides of the ball, right? Offensively and defensively. A little bit of a late close. Maybe Anderson thought he had some one-on-one. Here comes Boltice's big arms shutting down the cross.
And this is a tough rotation for the Pride. The only one where both Brandow and Anderson are in the back row. So great chance for Carthage to pull away. Speaking of pulling away, Robles drops down low, avoids that serve, and that's a free side out for the Pride.
Making it look a little bit extra, you know, a little flair, but out nonetheless.
If you're coming back for your 6th year of college volleyball, I'd make sure I was being a little bit more dramatic on the court as well.
Absolutely.
Liam York does not make good contact on that jump serve as the Firebirds earn a free side out on that one. We're getting a look at some Carthage alumni, including former National Player of the Year Matt Renzel, starting a program at Roanoke College, Evan.
Growing the game, wonderful.
Brandow dug high off the hands by Schmidt. Boltice squeezed in. His swing goes just a bit wide. It's a great transition run, but there's always that margin for error when you're trying to run your middle off those transition digs.
Yeah, it looks like just a little bit of a miss hit. I think he kind of punched it, didn't have any topspin on the ball. It may have been a little bit behind him, and it just floated long.
And one thing you might normally see Boltice do with that ball is a short tip over the block. Really tough against this Springfield team with the kind of size they have. Giancarlo jump serve, finds Cohan, passed well, all the way out. Peyton Weeder finds the outside hand and a side out for the Firebirds.
I think what they're saying is the ball hit the antenna first. It looked like from our vantage point that it went off the hands into the antenna. There's going to be some arguing there about the play.
We're going to have a discussion with our 2 officials as well as our captains. Our captains are going to go back. We're getting another look here. That certainly went off the hands and then the antenna there, Evan.
Absolutely hands first, no question about it. They're going to have a discussion here. I'm surprised they're not pulling the line judge in, to be honest.
I think with the view that Young had, they might not even need to get the line judges involved because I thought he had a pretty good beat on what happened during that play.
Replay.
And a replay is awarded without talking to the line judges. I'm a bit surprised by that one.
To be honest, you don't see that very often unless I don't think there was an inadvertent whistle. That's usually when you see a replay. So I'm surprised that they've come to this conclusion. JW obviously pretty upset. That was a pretty clear play. Really shocked they didn't talk to the line judges.
Nonetheless, we are back. Score still 18-14. Giancarlo gets a second serve here. This one catches Schmidt high, out of system. Schmidt, high cross, misses the line, and Springfield takes advantage of that break as they shrink the lead to 3.
Just, a little bit of a tough pass there. You don't want to follow up a tough pass by an attack error. Let's see if they can refocus and get Schmidt. The ball is probably coming right back on Schmidt.
And we see Cohan shift over towards Schmidt. They're daring Giancarlo to take this serve down the line at Slavinsky. Cohan plays it in the seam. Weeder goes high, blocked by Parker and Lilly. And for the second time tonight, we see Giancarlo Carrion taking his team on a bit of a run.
Yeah, I said, hey, maybe we're going to see somebody else. He's been a little bit off this go-round. He's obviously found something, maybe a little adjustment to his toss, and he's putting a lot of heat on behind the service line. And now that blown call, that's looming large, right? It's unfortunate. Of course, referees are human. They're going to make some mistakes, but you can't help but being frustrated and say, hey, we got on this rotation, we got away from one of their best servers, and now we got to try to score extra points, and the lead is close the gap a little bit.
I've had the chance to watch these officials all weekend long. They've done a tremendous job. Like you said, they're human. They'll miss a call or two. But if you're Coach Keycaper, how are you getting your guys back on track after a little bit of what you would perceive as a blown call?
So what they did last time in this situation and out of a timeout was they changed their passing rotation. So we could see two things happen. Weeder could step back and pass, or they could even pull, so they can pass him forward, or they could pull Carter Schmidt up. He's in rotation 1, so he can just worry about attacking because he's their primary option in this rotation. So I would be surprised if we don't see some sort of change in the server seat for Carthage.
I think the danger of pulling Weeder back and pushing Schmidt up is that puts Cohan in right back and takes him out of the center of receive when one of his best skill sets is passing as much surface area on the floor as he does.
Sure.
We'll see what adjustments we have, and right now they're going to run it back the same way. Cohan stays shifted over on top of Schmidt. Giancarlo's jump serve onto Slavinsky. Passed well. Outside to Weeder. And Weeder, despite seeing 4 hands instead of none, finds the seam of the block and terminates.
Weeder might have one of the best kill percentages in the country. Doesn't get the ball too often, but hey, that's probably their matchup, right? They're trying to go at maybe Lilly as a blocker. Maybe he's a little more susceptible to being scored on than a guy like Brandow.
The Pride trails 16-19. Serve coming from Carter Schmidt after the side out. Schmidt's jump serve attacks York. Back towards the antenna. Lilly pushes it across. High splits the block. Dug out by Schmidt. Kept alive. Weeder short roll. Picked up by Robles. Back to Anderson one-on-one. Touched by Slavinsky. Weeder with the out-of-system set. And oh, wow. I know the win point was already over, but a tremendous block from Chris Parker there.
Well, unfortunately, you can't score 2 points on the same play, but I think that's what they were going for there is, you know.
Our officials have let him play all weekend long, but you can't let that set go from Weeder.
That might have been a little bit egregious. It has been nice that the officials are letting the guys play, not blowing the whistle too much. That one, definite. Hard to argue.
I know we're not quite in tornado country, but it looked like one might have made it up north after that set. Tough serve from Lilly, rattles around the ceiling. Boltice puts up an out-of-system ball dug by Robles. And Zach Boltice showing that he is a multifaceted athlete with that hand set.
A little bit of a beach set, you know, a little bit of a deep dish here. I know that's how they like it in the Midwest, but could have been called. Again, we just said they're not going to make too many calls. Robles had it played perfectly right in his lap, but that ball had a lot of heat on it for Slavinsky.
It might have been a deep dish, but I can read Molten Philistech on that bowl, one of our wonderful sponsors here at the Men's Volleyball Championship. Backside to Brandow, and once again, we see him attack the outside hand, this time on the opposite antenna.
You know, really good swing. It's how do you stop that, right? That's a big block. I'm going to take advantage of that outside hand. They've scored a couple times there on Slavinsky. It's just so fast, right? You think you're there, and it just messes with your timing just a little bit.
Brandow lining up in left back. We'll see him attack this serve deep in the cross court. Sliv passes it well. Backside. Oh, and Liam York stuffs that one tighter than a Pizza Hut dinner box, Evan.
Big solo block. One-on-one there. Got all the way out to the line. Strong outside hand. You see the little bit of a reach and just straight down.
We might see that block on Frog Jump Volleyball later on. Brandow's serve carries wide, and Carthage now leads this one 21-19, and the fans are getting loud once again.
The fans behind Springfield servers, I think they're affecting the game just a little bit.
It's almost like we're at BYU, just here in Kenosha. A second straight missed serve. And now we have Chris Parker and Coach Sullivan gesturing for the fans here on the seat. This is as animated as I've ever seen Coach Sullivan on the sideline.
Usually his energy is spent working the referees, not typically the crowd.
I think he knows he needs a little bit from the Pride faithful that are here tonight. Cohan slides over to pick that one up. Slavinsky wide. Oh my word. Evan, you just can't do anything about that.
He saw Carter Schmidt hit that shot earlier and is like, listen, you're getting all the glory. I'm sick of it. I'm taking that shot too. What a rip.
Just incredible hip mobility from him to open up. and absolutely blister that ball into the sharp angle.
You have to be an explosive athlete to make that kind of swing, and he did that with ease.
If there's a word above explosive, I would use it to describe Matt Slavinsky. Backside to Anderson, short tip, and you can't tip in this match, Evan. These guys are too athletic.
I think that ball was a little bit mislocated, maybe a little further inside than he was expecting. Really nice block there. Good eyes on the blocker, on the hitter by Schmidt, and just threw that ball right back on Springfield's side.
Great active hands, and now we have 23-20. Slavinsky back at the line for his second serve. High toss. Crutches that one just into the net. And if you are Springfield, you're down 21-23, but you've got Jarrett Anderson back at the line. Exactly where you want to be.
Yeah, he's going to try to hit this ball, curving towards Carter Schmidt on the outside, front row.
4 passers, and it looks like Anderson took some off that one. Double block on Schmidt. He forces it off the block. Lilly was trying to pull his hands away, but I think it was just too late.
Lilly is in the face of Young Park. You got to be careful he doesn't get a card there. Really smart swing. Again, maybe JW is calling for the card. Maybe a little bit mislocated, but that's what great hitters do. They better the ball, they take good swings, even if everything doesn't line up exactly.
Set point for the Firebirds. Marcus at the line, puts one on Robles, passed well. Outside to York, elevates, puts that one down, and maybe York, after that big block a few points ago, is going to get things going on the offensive side of the ball.
You know, they certainly, if Springfield's going to take this set and if they're going to come back in this match, York has to be a big part of that. He's a big part of their offense. They're going to need him to play well the rest of the time.
York takes some off the jump serve. McNulty to the Bick. Slavinsky finds the floor, and Carthage leads this match 2-0, 25-22. One set away from repeating as national champions as we get another look at the Bick there.
You know, Carthage had gone away from the Bick a little bit in that set. It was getting outside dominant. You could see Reynolds peeling to the outside, got a one-on-one situation on the Bick, and he's going to score more often than not when he's in that situation. Late in the set, they like to go to Slavinsky. He's their guy, right? You always have to be aware of where he is on the court, especially late in the set.
And we are going to be... Folks, we are back at Charbel Arena. We have an interview here with former student athlete, current frog jump contributor, and most important title, national champion Bradley Schneider. Bradley, thank you for joining the broadcast.
Thanks for having me, Rob, here. Glad to be a part of what you're doing here.
Bradley, you appeared in the national title match back in 2017. You won a national title in 2019. Talk about some of your experiences as a student athlete playing in a moment like this.
Absolutely, Rob. You know, back in 2017, honestly, the arena that we're seeing here tonight reminds me a lot of that experience that I had back then. Springfield packed out their gym, so this is what I'm seeing from a lot of the Carthage community tonight. So it's cool to see kind of how the players are reacting to a moment like this. And then, you know, 2019, bouncing back from what we did in 2017 and taking the national championship for New Paltz was just an incredible experience. So cool to be back.
You mentioned that environment in 2017. At one point or another, you were looking down the barrel. Your season might be over soon. You're playing in potentially your last set. What would you and your teammates be talking about in a moment like this to try and rally the troops and extend your year?
You know, that's a good point. I think it all comes down to the serve and passing right now. I mean, Carthage right now, they're putting up huge blocks. Again, great touches on the ball. So I think right now Springfield just has to simplify a little bit. It comes down to the serve and pass. I think they could be a little bit more aggressive from the service line, especially, you know, Brendan Brandow and Jarrett Anderson. I think if they put a little bit more service pressure, then they can steal a couple of points and maybe make this match a little bit more interesting.
Brad Evangilio from Wentworth here. I just want to say we appreciate the volleyball community, the growth that frog jump has brought to our D3 community. Can you talk a little bit about what led you to contribute and really be involved in that process?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's all about growing the game. You know, I played D3 volleyball, and basically just want men's volleyball to be a little bit more on the landscape. You know, my dad runs a club for high school boys, and basically to be a part of Frog Jump just means a lot, because we're out here, making people aware of D3 volleyball, and it's a special moment for these kids. These guys live for moments like this, so why not make it special for them and do something good?
Bradley, we want to thank you for jumping on with us, as well as thank you and the whole Frog Jump crew, Ramius, yourself, and Harvey, for all the contributions you guys have made to the game this year.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Rob. Thanks, Evan.
And folks, don't go. Folks, we are back at Charble Arena. National Championship Match 2022 volleyball season. The Carthage College Firebirds lead the Springfield Pride 2-0. Evan, we're going to go back to you. You work at the engineering school. We want you to walk us through the numbers. What did you see in set 2?
We talked about how Brandow and Anderson were electric in the first set. Not that they struggled, but they had 5 errors between the two in the second set. Hitting percentage for Springfield down to 154. Serve percentage, you said after set 1 it was 7-10. They wanted to be closer to about 80%. They're only at about 73, so maybe they're still a little bit below where they typically are behind the service line. So some attack errors come by their big guys. Their service game still not where they want it to be. I think led to a Carthage win with Slavinsky just erupting in that second set.
Set 3 underway. Schmidt, serve Hunter Robles. Lilly, backside to Anderson, cut down the line, dug by Cohan. A second swing at the net for Anderson. Hits it so hard he loses his balance, but he'll take a side out as the Pride lead 1-0.
Anderson's averaging about 9 swings per set in those first 2. I would be shocked if he's not getting the ball at least every other here in the third set, as Springfield is a little bit on the ropes.
In the MAC, we call those Mason Nisley numbers. Short roll from Slavinsky, thrown back by Reynolds. Covered, back to Slavinsky again, hard angle, Robles digs it out, bump set from Lilly, York elevates high, and that is a fantastic bump set from Matt Lilly there.
Really nice bump set. York started to maybe come alive, like you said, in the end of that second set. Big stuff block on the right, got a kill late. Maybe they look to get him going, like I said, offensively. They're going to need a little more balance so he can carry some of the load.
Oh, Jarrett Anderson, take a bow. He found that line with authority.
They've been shifting over. Now they've got a little bit different matchup here because Carter Schmidt's in zone 1, right? So that's the guy they want to serve at. Anderson, no problem. I can hit that spot.
Tough serve in from Anderson. McNulty goes to Boltice. Touch from Anderson. Goes off the defense, and a side out that puts Carthage on the board as they trail 1-3. This might be the most that Carthage has trailed by this evening so far.
Yeah, they've been in control for most of the evening here. A little bit of a slow start, but plenty of set left.
Gavin returns for his serve. Floats one at Brandow's platform. Great save by Lilly. Robles shovels over for free ball. Gavin picks up first contact. Marcus turns it, and a great play from our serving sub as Gene McNulty shows him all the love there.
I think what Gavin says, hey, I'm only going to be on the court for 1 rotation. I'm going to try to get as many digs as possible. I got the whole court. Don't worry about it.
Love to see that energy from any contributor you have who might not be one of your main guys on the floor. Second float serve, this one to York, handled well up top. They go back out to York, high off the hands over the block. And if this were a game of NBA Jam, I think Liam York would be on fire right now.
He's definitely at least heating up, Rob.
And we talked about that block. It is amazing how one momentum play, maybe not for your team, but for yourself, can ignite other parts of your match.
In our gym, we play NBA Jam rules sometimes. Guy starts heating up, he gets on fire, everything he does is worth 2.
That service error is only worth 1, though, for the Firebirds, as now Peyton Weeder will head back to serve after York's error.
I would say York is not on fire anymore.
No, that's like when I think it might be like Sean Kemp rotates over and gets the block.
We're going back with our references now.
The Rain Man. Lily to Reynolds, little too high, deflected. Marcus with the high set. Angle swing from Slavinsky, dug out by Brandow, but over the net. McNulty all the way out to Slavinsky, closed by Reynolds for the touch. Weeder out of system, again to Slavinsky, and again stuffed by Reynolds. What a series for Nate Reynolds there.
A lot of positive touches. I don't think we've seen a middle this strong defensively from Springfield since the days of Greg Falcone at the net.
Greg Falcone, Jimmy O'Leary. You can make the argument that Springfield was middle U back in the day.
Had a lot of big middles. Greg Falcone a lot slower, not the athlete, but a really strong blocker.
Serve catches the tape, handled by Cohan. Marcus buries one. We almost got a game ball touch there. Marcus hit that with so much authority.
I was ready back here. But Marcus, hey, you know, a lot happened on the Springfield side for middles. Let's get involved. Marcus, newcomer of the year, showing why.
A great swing from Marcus there. Slavinsky at the service line. Attacks this one cross court. Robles throws it in the ceiling. Saved by York, but that save finds the antenna. And Matt Slavinsky really put a lot of heat on that ball.
His serve, when he connects, is the toughest in the gym. Maybe between him and Anderson, both those guys have an opportunity to affect the match a ton behind the service line.
Robles, an All-American libero. Maybe in a couple other gyms that doesn't find the ceiling, but in Blake or Tarbell, that one's always going up top.
Yeah, for those that are unfamiliar, Springfield has a low gym as well, so they're used to balls going up in the ceiling and bouncing around. A little bit different structure here. Obviously not as quite used to it, but they're used to playing in a gym with a low ceiling.
Lily back at the line as the Pride regain the lead, up 6-5. He goes in the seam, handled well by Cohan. Marcus high off the hands, dug by York. Robles out of system bump set. Brandow watches it over the shoulder, rolls high 6. Weeder with the dig. McNulty met at the net by Brandow. Weeder lays out to pick it up. Short free ball sent by Schmidt. Out of system set from Robles. Brandow high hands. Misses them. And a bit of a break for Carthage there, earning that point in transition.
Again, we've just seen Brandow a couple times timing a little bit off. He got himself a little bit early and underneath that ball, tried to go for the high hands, and it just went a little bit deep.
You always want to exhibit that extra patience when you know you're getting an out-of-system set from your libero, especially knowing Robles uses his forearms more frequently. Robles with the pass. Parker terminates the one-on-one, and you'd see Chris Parker's swing angle there because the middle was serving. Talk about taking advantage of the middle when they're playing left-back defense, Evan.
Yeah, Springfield definitely knows where those guys are defensively. Parker likes that shot. He sees a one-on-one, he's going to go hammer.
Brandow serving to the seam for Schmidt, catches the ceiling. Cohan steps in. High roll, touched and covered by Boltice. Backside D-ball for Slavinsky, rolled high. Robles rotates over to pick it up. Parker throws it back to one. Slavinsky digs it. Schmidt takes it towards the scorer's table. Free ball sent by Weeder. Lily going to the Bick. Brandow. Boltice gets the touch, but not enough. And a lot of different moving pieces during that rally, Evan.
Yeah, Springfield's guys from Long Island getting it done, right? The Long Island guys got a lot of fire right there. Both Brandow and Parker. I've had an opportunity to coach some guys from Long Island. Ryan Engel was a big contributor for us for a lot of years. Those guys play with passion.
Boltice with a tight cut, and you might, if you're watching at home, wonder why Chris Lilly only sticks one hand out at that ball. I have watched him one paw dig more balls during practice this week than maybe any player in the country.
So what Springfield does defensively is say if it's outside of your body, just stick your arm out there and try to get a positive touch.
Lilly saves the out-of-system play. They go to Boltice, and Boltice scores a second straight there.
They're just, Boltice, much like last night against us in Wentworth, they found him a lot of opportunities. Right now, you know the ball's going to him. There's guys up on him, and he's still finding a way to score. That's his true offense.
Anytime that I've seen Carthage fall behind a little bit, you see them fall back on their principles of running that middle big offense. McNulty with the dig in transition. Tight set, dug out after the overset, and Boltice picks up the out-of-system middle set, a rarity in our game.
Unbelievable. just ready to attack when the ball comes in your zone. I don't think that was even supposed to go to him. I think it was just a save, like let's keep the ball alive. And hey, being in the right place at the right time, taking advantage of the opportunity.
Great presence from Boltice there and volleyball IQ on display. York swinging high in the triple. Touch but covered. Robles, oh no, it was pancaked by Lily. That ball was alive.
Oh, I think that was up. I think that was up.
I thought that was up as well, but Matt Lilly, normally a pretty passionate arguer, not saying a whole lot here.
Yeah, from our angle, it looked like it was up. Usually they'd be working the refs.
It looked like Robles thought that ball was his. He went down, just a little miscommunication. Lily out to York, one-on-one. York going for a sharp angle, little too much, and Coach Kiekefer is thrilled with the run here as Charlie Sullivan takes his first time out of this set.
Yeah, just a little bit disjointed offensively for Springfield. You don't usually see that. I think part of the reason is Carthage defense is relentless. They're making a lot of positive plays. Every point for Springfield right now is a struggle to score. Even if they are getting kills, not very many of them are coming easily, right? So Carthage is starting to wear down. Springfield trying to do maybe a little bit extra, and it's resulted in a few too many errors.
As Coach Sullivan addresses his team, we've seen the hot start get washed away by the service run from Carthage here. How do you work to get your offense back on track and push through that relentless Firebird defense?
Yeah, so you're going to have a little bit what's called the feedback loop between setter and hitter, right? Are we on the same page? Are we on the same tempo, right? When A happens, are we doing B? Right, so just a communication between the setters and hitters is so important to continually have that communication and talk, so that way they're just understanding what to expect, right, versus being a little bit unclear or in the gray.
And what I would expect to see from Coach Kiekefer's squad is we might see that middle blocker shade early towards Anderson, continuing to leave York one-on-one. And if York is going to get those one-on-one balls like he did last point, he's got to take care of those and terminate.
Yeah, when you have one-on-one, you got to put a competitive swing on the ball. That's just all there is to it.
Gene McNulty back at the service line. Serves down the line. York with the forearms. Robles steps in the set. York high off the hands, chops that one back to the line off the block for a much-needed side out.
Yeah, I think they've taken advantage a little bit with Peyton Weeder on that outside. Peyton's definitely got a block or two there, but they've used that outside hand a decent amount. Oh, we got a stop. Towel on the floor. We're slowing things down, but we're playing on.
Parker, serve on a Cohan. Tipped high by Weeder. Great dig from Lilly as he gets towards the center line. Short tip over the top from Anderson. Dug out in the scramble play by Carthage. Back to Anderson. No tip that time. Dug out by Slavinsky. Doesn't find any ceiling tiles. And Gene McNulty, his first mistake of the night. Tough ball, the hands head off that ceiling.
Yeah, I don't think he wasn't sure if that ball was going to come off a beam and come straight down. Maybe should have went forearms there. Sullivan's arguing about something. Maybe Carthage is moving a little bit too slow for his liking. Got to work the refs, you know.
Parker, another serve in. That one finds the line as Slavinsky knots this one back up. Great timeout from Coach Sullivan as they've rattled off 3 straight.
Absolutely. Good serve there down the line. A little thumb down action. A lot of space right now between Slavinsky and the sideline.
Slavinsky being asked to pass a lot of court as Cohan sitting on top of Schmidt, but that's a free side out as the Firebirds retake the lead and Carter Schmidt heads back to the line.
You know, we talk a lot about Slavinsky's serve. Carter Schmidt might be the most consistent with heat and putting it where he wants.
And he's got a great blocking front row of Weeder, Boltice, and Slavinsky, so you see him make some more adjustments, keep more balls in play. High swing from Reynolds. It was dug out, but Boltice clips the net on his way up. So that is a side out for the Pride. They knot this one back up after the kill from Reynolds.
Yeah, you know, beating the net, it happens. It's a little frustrating sometimes defensively when you make a really good dig, but then you just get caught in the net a little bit.
It looked like he was turning to start that transition. His hip caught it. Good serve from Anderson on to Slavinsky. 3-run. They're saying no touch, but we're playing through. High swing from Slavinsky clears all the hands, so Springfield finds the point regardless.
Springfield starting, when you get caught in the game of arguing every play, arguing this touch, that touch, right? Maybe that takes away your focus a little bit of what you should be doing game planning wise.
Anderson, another tremendous serve in. McNulty squeezes the back one. Boltice buried it, but it was just wide of the sideline there.
I think that might be the first mistake he's made offensively all night. A lot of really, really good swings. That ball maybe just wide.
We talked about the defensive ability of Nate Rounds earlier, and we're seeing that have an impact in the minds of these Carthage hitters as they're taking their swings with him in the front row. And another error as this relentless pressure from the Springfield service line is starting to wear down a bit of this Carthage serve receive. And that's a timeout for Coach Kiekefer. Evan, we're going to take a look inside the numbers here. We talked about the service error rate for Springfield, but we're now seeing it pay off with that pressure. If you are talking to your servers about what you want to see from them at the line, what are some of your messages you're sending?
So what I think you're saying for Carthage's side, hey, Anderson's behind the service line. We might be in a medium situation. That's okay, but we got to take aggressive, competitive swings. Right now, Boltice, great rip, out of bounds. They go to Weeder on a medium ball, out of bounds, right? You got to force Springfield here to play some defense, which Carthage has done a great job of all night. So a good serve, a medium pass, right to an error is allowed Springfield to go on this run here.
And if you're Coach Kiekefer, I think he's talking about where the pressure lies at this moment. You're up 2-0. You're playing for a national championship at home. You've got everyone in this gym involved, including the young women cleaning the floor here. There are a lot of people here to support them. So my guess is he's just telling them to relax, take their time, make the next play, and they'll be good to go.
They've had the momentum and control for the majority of this match. Might be the first time they've been down by this number this late in the set. Still plenty of time if they can get out of this rotation. But again, they got Anderson, their best server, with Carthage stuck in row 2. Can't make any adjustments serve-receive-wise.
A coach's point for Coach Kiekefer, and he is fired up about that one. Happy to see it as we now have our substitution back into the match. Easton Gavin, he's made a couple big plays tonight. He could be a guy who turns the momentum in this set while the Firebirds are trailing.
Made a couple of nice digs, been able to hit his zone a number of times, and been a positive impact.
He attacks York, it's passed well. Backside to Anderson, and Anderson so dangerous on that C ball.
So I think early in this match, there's been a few balls. Look at the bench by Springfield.
The exercise bike, a rarity.
Riding the bike. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Slavinsky there taking up a little bit more line on the block because that's where Anderson was hitting early, and then he finds a seam.
York, tough serve on the Cohen, but handled well. Marcus drops the tip, and Evan, David Marcus is tipping that ball from such a high angle. He's able to survey the block with ease.
Yeah, and what they've been doing, you can see where Musa Robles is starting his defense. He's a little bit deeper, a little further in to handle those aggressive shots and just drop that tip short. Really smart, great spot.
York with another tremendous pass. Anderson gets it again. The power push, a Nate Miller classic. Just forcing it through with the two-handed shove.
Speed kills, right? Even if the connection isn't perfect, the ball is so fast, the block and the defense don't always have enough time to react. You're seeing it there. Good swing.
Fan favorite, Giancarlo back in the serve. A favorite of both Carthage and Springfield.
Yeah, Carthage is letting them know about it.
A great ball in on a Cohan. Doesn't catch a ceiling, so it's chased down by McNulty. Thrown over by Marcus. Handled high. Out to Brandow, a little too high. Cohan with a slingshot dig, but not enough. And another point with Giancarlo at the service line.
So what you saw there by Cohen defensively is sometimes you do that on purpose, where you try to throw the ball into the net so you can get that reflection, and it just wasn't, Marcus wasn't ready to handle it, came a little high on him. And Giancarlo back behind the service line has really picked it up after a little bit of a slow start.
GC, as they call him in the Springfield gym, sends that one a little bit deep. But when you're leading 18-15, you'll take 1-for-1 from the service line every time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was a good trade.
And now we have Matt Slavinsky back to serve. He went on a big run for the Firebirds last time. Exactly who you want back there if you're Coach Kike to close this gap. Slavinsky finds the net on that serve. And now we have Matt Lilly back, and that means Jared Anderson is in the front row, matched up with Carter Schmidt for the next 3 rotations.
Yeah, you know, Anderson's been involved in this set. We're going to see if he's going to continue to get the ball. He will continue to get the ball. We'll just see what kind of rate.
Just a matter of when. Lilly, heavy serve onto Cohan, passed well. Marcus delivers. Evan, we call that pass a nail gun in our gym, as you can just expect it to be on point every time.
He's passing at a great clip. He's been all over. He's asked to take up more court than the other guys, and he's passing like he's a first-team All-American.
Trailing 16-19, Carthage back at the line. Marcus on to York, gets the overpass. Slavinsky throws it high. Forced through by McNulty, but dug by Parker. Forced again. Another play at the net. Parker rejects Boltice. Boltice throws it back over. We go backside to Brandow. High off hands, covered by Brandow. Back to him on no transition. Throws it, but hands are pulled. Dug over by Marcus. Robles handles. They go to Parker on the 3. It's touched. It's off the ceiling. It's back in play. The free ball sent over by Schmidt. Robles handles it. They go to the Bick for York. Nobody home. It's dug again and kept in play. Robles handles the free ball. Back to the Bick again. And we have a touch called. Evan, what a rally.
What just happened? That was insane. Defense, great touches, free balls, digs. I don't know if this was touched. What an up there. You can see on the replay. Going right back to it.
That would be the scene you'd see in a volleyball movie.
Unbelievable.
McNulty runs the float to Boltice. Nobody home. Absolutely crunches that ball.
That's a really tough run. McNulty is falling backwards, pushes that ball in tempo high right into the zone of Boltice. Boltice has a huge window. I mean, he can hit a ball from anywhere. He's doing a great job connecting.
McNulty's so comfortable with that squeeze when he's fallen away. Anderson dug out high off the ceiling again, chased down by Schmidt. Slavinsky says no free balls allowed. Anderson with the one-arm stab dig. York with the short tip finds the line. There are some incredible things happening on the floor.
You know, you can't get a kill by ripping. It goes off the ceiling, bounces around 3 times. York's taking big rips. Let me just pull the string here and tip it right in front of the 10 and get an easy point.
21-17, the Pride lead this one. Parker, rope-a-dope short jump serve, picked up by Boltice. He trips in transition, covered, but a net violation on Peyton Weeder. The Pride are grabbing some momentum with their play at the net.
Yeah, good play at the net, good pressure behind the service line, and it's forced Carthage into some errors.
22-17, the Pride have battled their way back into this match. They jumped out to an early lead. Carthage came back and took the lead back. Now they're back in front again. If you're Coach Sullivan, what are you telling your guys as you look to close this match out and extend your season?
So, hey, we got to keep up the service pressure behind the line, right? Getting these guys into some medium situations, not allowing them to set the middle ball, which means they can't set the Bick. Right, so then that offense just gets a little bit more predictable. It's really hard to get Carthage in that position, but Springfield is doing it in this set, and that's what's led them to get a lead, keep a lead, continue to be aggressive behind the line.
And if you're Carthage, you're trailing this one by 5. You might not necessarily be thinking that you can come back and win this set, but you want to grab some momentum going into the 4th set. So what messages should Coach Kike be sending to his student athletes?
Yeah, probably just calming these guys down a little bit. You know, hey, we got a lead here. We know it's going to be tough. Let's just make sure that we're executing our game plan, understanding that Springfield is going to score some points. They're going to make it tough. We just got to continue to battle and try to wear them down, right? And this has been a lot of pressure on both sides in late rallies, hard to score, great digs. It's been pretty epic here in this 3rd set.
And now this epic 3rd set continues. Chris Parker back at the line for the Pride, looking to grab another point. Carthage in rotation 1 where they had some trouble earlier, looking to side out. Parker goes at Cohan, it catches him off guard. Slavinsky forced to send a free ball over. Outside of York, 1-on-1, and York almost nutmegs Gene McNulty with the aggressive line swing.
Yeah, Carter Schmidt got caught a little too far inside, and York saw a lot of daylight and didn't miss this time down the line.
Matt Lilly doing a much better job getting that ball all the way out to the pin, and York doing a better job of taking what the set gives him and just terminating on these swings. Parker attacks Slavinsky. McNulty to the Bick, dug out by Lilly. Reynolds' second contact bump set, thrown over short. The Bick again splits the block, and Evan, it looked like Springfield didn't quite know who was responsible for second hands there.
Yeah, a little bit of a confusion. You know, on the free ball, they're going to go middle Bick, but you got to pick one or the other typically, and Slavinsky was just able to find a little bit of space.
Schmidt at the line. Serve carries deep, and the Pride with their first set point of the night, looking to grab their first set of the night and extend their season at least one set longer.
Yeah, you know Springfield wasn't going to go quietly into the night, and here they are in the third set, getting back to doing things that they do well.
Tough serve from Anderson. Schmidt chases it down on a system. Boltice forced a free ball over. Brandow out of system free ball pass. York goes high, sneaks it underneath the block, and it might not be pretty, Evan, but they all count the same.
York really turned it on here in this third set, right? You know, struggling offensively in set 1 and 2. He got on a little bit of a heater, found a little bit of rhythm, couple smart tips in front of the block, through the hands, ripping away when he got the chance. And I think that's a really welcome sight for Springfield as they claw back into this match, look to tie it up here in set 4.
And we will have a quick break before we go.
The Readers Become Leaders program is how NCAA teamworks and our partners continue to make a difference together.
The NCAA thanks our corporate champions, AT&T, Capital One, and Coca-Cola, and our corporate partners, Aflac, Buffalo Wild Wings, Buick, Degree.
We are back in Tarbell Arena here between sets 3 and 4, where Carthage College leads this national championship match 2-1 over the Springfield Pride. And we are joined on the broadcast by NCAA Division III men's volleyball chair and Augustana College athletic director Mike Sapolsky. Mike, welcome to the broadcast.
Rob, it's a pleasure joining you and Evan.
Mike, you have a chance to see some of the top teams in the country on display. Carthage in the CCIW, you're pretty familiar, and now Springfield you're getting to see here in 2022. What are some of your thoughts watching this match from the sidelines?
Amazing athleticism. The power and strength of the players is impressive. That one rally late in the third game was off the charts. Obviously, an awesome environment for the event. Compared to last year when we were in Salem, where we had very few people because of COVID, this is on the other end of the spectrum. It's electric out there.
Zapper, we've talked on the broadcast a little bit about the serving pressure and the missed serves. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think is going on behind the service line for both teams.
Well, you coaching experts like to tell me that you like to have, for every service error, you should have, for every ace, you should have only 2 service errors. So the ratios aren't that great at the moment. Carthage's ratio is a little bit better than Springfield's. I don't think that they're going to change their game plan that's gotten them to this point. You look at the stat sheet, and the numbers are virtually identical as we head into the fourth set.
Zapper, you were at Pepperdine for a long time, a school with great volleyball history. How has the game transformed in the 30 or so years that you've been watching men's volleyball in person?
Rob, I'm so old. They were doing side-out scoring. None of this histrionics on the bench was happening. None of this jockeying by the coaches was happening, which I'm not a big fan of. But you know what? The rules are very permissive. You can do just about anything, and it's awesome to see the growth that's happened at the small college level over the course of the last decade, and tonight's match really showcases the best of NCAA Division III men's volleyball.
Awesome, Mike. Thanks for joining us, and thank you for all you've done for the sport.
Awesome. Good luck during the fourth set.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Thanks.
And we are back here in the fourth set, action underway after some thoughts from our sport chair, Mike Sapolsky. The Carthage fans are on their feet. They're swinging Sweet Caroline. That might make these Springfield student-athletes comfortable. They're used to songs like this in Boston, Evan.
You know, Springfield's on the other side of the state from Boston, but it's only about an hour and a half away, so unbelievable.
Jarrett Anderson going down the line. And Evan, you're starting a family. You've got a cell phone line coming in soon. I'd think about maybe AT&T, corporate sponsor of the NCAA, for your cell phone service.
I think that's a good idea.
And maybe an LG phone while you're at it.
You know, if I get text during this broadcast, I might drop some names. You never know. I'm feeling pretty good.
This time, the serve is handled. Schmidt goes wide, but York was in the net on that ball, so that is a side out for the Firebirds.
That's a bailout because Carthage has gotten stuck a couple of times in rotation one. Anderson had that great serve down the line. Got to be a little bit frustrating for Anderson there.
And we're seeing some jockeying with rotational starts. Do you think Coach Sullivan wanted to get Anderson serving in that rotation one spot?
You know, I think that Anderson's their best server, and he said, let's get him going on early in the match. And, you know, he's a threat whatever rotation Carthage is in.
And speaking of tremendous servers, Schmidt takes a little bit off that one, goes with the changeup, catches York short, and we get the floor clean. Great catch from our up official of that towel, Julie with the hands.
I think Julie's a little bit of an athlete herself up there.
Absolutely. Schmidt delivering another ball. Catches Brandow high, just avoids the ceiling. Anderson on the C, wrist away, goes deep, and Carthage, after getting eights on the first ball, has put a few together, lead this one 3-1 early.
That's a little bit of an uncharacteristic error from Anderson. Usually he doesn't miss that swing long.
That is what happens when you've got guys like Carter Schmidt firing away at the line and the big block he's up against out there. Serve catches the tape. Lilly back to Anderson again. Does not miss that one. Blows up Gene McNulty's hands, and that's a side out for the Pride. Anderson scoring both points for them early on here.
They really like that set. When Lilly is following that direction, he's going to go right to Anderson and quick. And I think Carthage knows it's coming, but it's still hard to put good hands in front of that ball.
York with a good ball, but it finds Cohan. Boltice dug out by Robles. Brandow short free ball, and he mishandled it. Tough break after a great dig from Robles there.
Really nice touch. I think Carthage is still just going to continue to go to the middle, right? Force Musa Robles to make plays like that. What a dig, kept it alive. Unfortunately, just a little bit of a mistake there by Brandow.
Second team All-American and probably the best defensive libero in the country.
Springfield, you know, you see these big guys, they're fast offense, but you don't realize that they're a really strong defensive team as well, right? They're just very, very well-rounded.
And we have a substitution for the Pride as Noah Whiteslow enters the match for Liam York. Ball sent over. Robles out of system, goes, short free ball sent from Anderson, takes out the setter, high out of system swing, pressed in, and that is an impressive block from Matt Lilly there.
He is fired up.
Coach Sullivan is smiling because they talked to Matt about his handwork all week long in practice, and he does a great job of pressing that ball back into the court to avoid being tooled. GC back in the serve. The Carthage fans giving him plenty of encouragement from the baseline. His serve catches the net. That is a side out. And now we've got Peyton Weeder back to the line as McNulty rotates to the front row. And right now we have Brennan Brandow matched up with Gene McNulty for 2 rotations. Not a matchup we've seen tonight.
I think we're going to see some outside balls here pretty quick. Well, Brandow said, listen, Carthage, you want to go 4-4? I can do that too. Every outside here just banging ball sharp cross.
If we had to rate these 4-4 shots and rank them, I think I'd rank all 3 number 1.
They're unbelievable. Great shots.
Lilly at the service line. Heavy ball onto Cohan. Cohan avoids everything in the ceiling. McNulty, high middle ball, dug out. Second ball from Parker. Too tight, and that is a block for, I believe it was Slavinsky and Marcus there.
Yeah, I think it was Slavinsky went up and got that tight ball. A little bit of a misstep. You notice for Springfield as well, they brought in, we glossed over it a little bit, but Noah Wieslow, the freshman, coming in the back row for York and serve receive. He's actually Wislow's a twin. His brother has gotten a little bit of time. Ethan Wislow setting this year as well.
Noah, a tremendous serve receiver, and we might even see him going from the service line a little bit because he's got a big, heavy jump serve.
Creates some really good angles. It looks like York's going to come back into the match front row here.
Substitution, as Evan mentioned, and now we've got Brandow in the back row. He will enter the next ball for us. Serve catches the tape, but it's picked up by Cohan. They go. Marcus splits the block. Back set from Brandow. Dies short. Lily short free ball picked up by Marcus. They go right back to Marcus, and we call that one feeding the big fella, Evan.
You know, you got to let the big fella play a little bit of defense, reward him right away with a swing. He hit balls both directions in that rally. Went hard hand away the first ball. Moose Robles was able to pick it up. He gets the ball back and goes cross. The ability to hit both shots, really, really important for the middle on the offense.
And now he heads back to serve. Tough ball into York, out of system pass. Throws it all the way out. He swings high over McNulty. Marcus gets the touch, chased by Weeder. Slavinsky frees it over. Robles picks it up. They go back to Anderson, and he splits the block. A great tempo run to the backside, which you've talked about all night, Evan.
I'm almost surprised that he didn't get the first ball in that rally, and they opted to set the ball long to the outside, regardless to get the free ball opportunity. And again, it's just so fast. You just don't see this play very often. A really, really fast arm. That's why Anderson's player of the year. Tremendous attacker.
Parker's serve catches the tape, but Schmidt picks it up. Back ball D to Slavinsky. Anything you can do, I can do better is what Matt Slavinsky's saying there.
Right, and we haven't seen Slavinsky hit a D ball in a while. Against the flow from McNulty, deep cross, hard to handle.
And it's so great for Gene. It's an awesome set, but he doesn't need to be precise with location because Slavinsky's athleticism gives him so much range. Brandow handles the serve with his hands. Out to York. York finds the outside hand from Weeder, and him and Lilly are finally getting on the same page with this go ball.
It's a really welcome sight for the Springfield offense. We talked about how York didn't quite get it going in sets 1 and 2. A lot better in set 3. It's up to, I think, 9-10 kills on the match now, which is pretty impressive considering he had, I think, 1 through 2 sets.
Anderson back at the line. Tries to go down the line at Schmidt again. Service error. Carthage leads 9-7. Carter Schmidt going back to enter a ball of his own as Anderson rotates to the back row.
That's a real sigh of relief for Carthage not having to deal with Anderson's serve.
Pass from Brandow goes high. York with a narrow approach, tipped into the donut, picked up by Cohan. Middle transition, Boltice trying to be too perfect. Overturns that 3-ball out of bounds.
Yeah, we've seen him err on that a couple times tonight where he's pushed, he goes cross-body, and it just goes a little bit wide. He's got space in front of him. I don't think he needs to go that sharp, but that ball coming fast at him and just over-rotates a tiny bit.
Reynolds has had his number a few times tonight. Do you think that's living in his head at all?
Yeah, I think it's just a fast ball. Oh, boy.
Oh, Peyton Weeder! Evan, he doesn't get the ball a ton, but every time he does, it feels like it's a highlight-worthy swing.
I think they just do the sleeping baby motion, right? They lull him to sleep. Oh, he's not getting the ball. That ball almost hit Robles right in the face.
And Robles did a good job to get a touch, but a ball that's hit with a block arriving that late is always going to be effective. And we have Noah Wislow back in, making sure all his equipment's ready. Shoes are tied tight, socks are pulled up, exactly where you want to be as a student athlete, comfortable while you're playing.
Got to look good.
Easton Gavin at the service line. High cross court, and he doesn't have York to go after with this float serve now, and it looks like he might be struggling trying to do too much without a target.
Yeah, just went a little bit long there. Maybe the shoot time by Wislow just slowed him down just a little bit. We'll take any advantage we can get here when your season's on the line.
GC back into serve for the Pride. Jump serve into the seam. Cohan passes. Nobody home on the bick, but it's a tip off the low set. Lily out of system bump set. Brandow, I don't even know where that ball went or how it got there. I thought an error was coming for sure.
I'm pretty flummoxed because I got to look the replay here because I have no idea how that ball got through.
It looked like there might have been a small seam between Marcus and Weeder, or maybe even a field goal, putting that ball between the blocker's arms.
Great swing.
GC, another serve. Hard on Weeder. McNulty to the outside. And the set, I don't know if it was designed to be inside, but Lilly chased that one out too far, and Slavinsky one-on-one is just too much for anyone to handle.
Yeah, he takes that ball really high, hit right in the seam. Just a really good aggressive run. Really hard to stop when you get a perfect pass from Carthage side.
Hand pass by Brandow on the serve. Anderson beats one, dug out by Weeder. Free ball from Marcus. Robles with the free ball pass. Back to Anderson. Sharp angle. Weeder thought after it caught the net it might go long, but it catches just inside the line.
I don't know if there's a shot that Anderson doesn't have. We've seen him early in the match blowing Cohen up down the line. Okay, we're going to adjust our block. We're going to move it a little further out. No big deal. I'll go sharp. You make it dig. Okay, I'll go sharper, right? There's just not a shot he can't hit.
Lilly's jump serve goes just deep as we have our most even set early on in one of these matches, as no team has been able to pull away quite yet.
I think you're seeing maybe a little bit of fatigue on both sides because these teams are not used to being challenged at this magnitude, right? I think it's pretty clear, everybody watching this match, this is the best and second best team in the country. In what order, we'll figure it out. But these two teams are battling each other, and you're going to see a little bit of fatigue, a little bit of tiredness, maybe some mistakes.
Slavinsky's serve goes just long as we are knotted up again at 12. We see Liam York re-enter the match for the Pride. Brennan Brandow back to serve. Folks, we haven't had one tonight, but I think we will here. If we get to 15 before a timeout is taken, we will have a short media timeout. Brandow's serve goes deep, and that is now 3 straight misses. Is that the fatigue you're talking about, Evan?
Yeah, maybe a little fatigue, maybe a little lack of focus, maybe the understanding, hey, that I got to serve really aggressive if I'm going to put them in trouble, so I'll deal with the miss serve.
Marcus at the line. Serve on to Robles. Outside to York. Elevate high off the hands of McNulty. Marcus makes the dig. Transition ball underset from McNulty there, and there's nothing Boltice can do about that.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a little bit of a miscommunication as to what they were running in transition. That ball didn't make it to Boltice. It's hard to know if he didn't run the right route. The set didn't get there, but Springfield was all over it.
It looked like the set was somewhere between a 3 and a float. Parker delivers the jump serve onto Weeder. Out, Schmidt tipped high, dug by Reynolds after the block touch. Front-facing set to the backside for Anderson. Dug again by Weeder. Outside to Schmidt, inside, off the hands, and a kill for Carter Schmidt. Evan, Peyton Weeder, it feels like he's everywhere defensively right now.
Yeah.
Talk about that production they're getting out of him in the center back.
He's making a lot of plays, right? A guy who's maybe a little bit unheralded on the team, doesn't put up the stat lines as some of the other pins, but obviously he's found a way to make a very, very positive impact.
And speaking of an impact, we're going to have to check on the impact Jared Anderson's swing took on that ball, as this is knotted up again at 14 after he demolishes one.
We saw him, his last 2 swings were cross, right? One got dug, he scored one off the tape. Okay, I'm gonna move my block a little bit. Nope, I'm just gonna rip down the line.
Anderson's swing from the service line carries deep. Carthage leads 15-14. Back here in Tarble Arena, set 4. Carthage leads this one 15-14. They lead the match 2-1. And Evan, we're seeing the fans of both schools on their feet for the appreciation of the effort of these student athletes tonight.
This has been a huge battle by both sides, and we're seeing some great volleyball.
Brandow with a perfect pass. Out to York, one-on-one, high off hands. Cohan digs it over. Robles chooses to play it. Brandow throws up the out-of-system set. Short roll, and the Carthage active hands, they were trying to go pinball flipper and flip that one back in. Catches the net tape.
Yeah, Robles might have dug a ball that was out of bounds there, but Springfield still finds a way to score the point, and York behind the service line now.
In the national championship, better to play that ball than watch it fall and hit the line.
Absolutely.
York, tough jump serve into the seam. Cohan handles. One-on-one, out to Slavinsky. He over-rotates that one out of bounds, and now Springfield on the +1, as they would call it in tennis. Advantage.
Absolutely. You've seen both teams at different points in this match try to go after the setter and just rotate too far and hit that ball out of bounds.
York, another serve. Cohan, another great pass. Boltice, great cross-court cut, all shoulder on that one.
Absolutely. We saw him hit a few balls a little too sharp. As long as Carthage is passing well, they're going to continue to use those guys in the middle.
Reynolds maybe too patient there, wants to sit on the bick a bit. Boltice takes advantage, going right over top of him.
Great swing.
Easton Gavin back in, as well as Wieslow for the Pride. Gavin's float serve in the middle of the net, and that's a free side out for Springfield.
Missed long the last time he came around. Takes a little bit too much off this time and low into the net.
Giancarlo Carrion, who has been a catalyst for the Pride from the service line, back in again. If you're Coach Sullivan, what are your messages to GC before he heads back?
Clearly he's really trusted him. Said, hey, I know you struggled a little bit early. Just keep going back there and doing what you do. And he's really been a big factor.
Absolute dime of a pass from Kyle Cohan. Didn't look phased at all. And the Firebird middles are heating up at the end of this fourth set.
Yeah, really getting involved in the offense. Easy to do when you're passing that well. The big man up and just finding some space.
Peyton Weeder back at the line. We see Wieslow shifted over towards Brandow. Good hand pass there. Backside C-ball, cut down the line. Cohan digs it tight but over. Covered again by Weeder on defense. Slavinsky high off the hands, gets the net call. Another key defensive play from Peyton Weeder there.
Peyton Weeder is putting on a defensive clinic right now. Just he's everywhere. Cohan making plays, great save, keeps it alive. Slavinsky with a hammer out of system.
Heck of an out of system bump set from Carter Schmidt there.
Unbelievable.
Wieslow with another great pass. High to Brandow, and once again another sharp cross through the block of Cohan, or through the D of Cohan.
Absolutely. Cohan was right on it, thought he had the play, but just a really, really good swing.
We've now got Matt Lilly back at the line, knotted up at 18. Lilly's jump serve, I think everyone knew that one was long from the start.
Just a bit out.
And I think Mike Zapolsky is a little frustrated with that one. He doesn't like the missed serves.
Yeah, he's throwing his hands up, a little demonstrative. That's not his kind of play.
19-18. We have the Firebirds back in the lead. Slavinsky at the line. Buries one in, but passed well by Robles. Parker squeezed, wrist away, throw from Parker. What a pass from Robles there.
Coming off the hand of Slavinsky, I thought that ball was going to be an ace. And Robles handled it and put a great pass on the net.
Carthage has a serving machine, but I don't know why they don't just put Matt Slavinsky back there.
Unbelievable.
Brandow serving, match knotted up at 19 all. Cohan with another quality pass. Slavinsky on the bick with no one home. Carthage has reestablished the middle, and now we see them go back to the bick there.
Yeah, we saw both middles involved, 3-4 perfect passes in a row to the middle. Okay, now we got to respect it. Slavinsky able to just hit one right over the top.
Springfield takes a timeout. They trail 19-20. We are looking at a situation where Springfield needs to make some plays here. We have another look at the Slavinsky bick. Just so hard to stop. Evan, what are you telling your middle blockers as the middle whisperer yourself on how they should be handling this middle bick combo?
Yeah, you know, I like to think I've trained some pretty strong middles. We've had a couple guys lead the country in blocks, but when it's such a perfect ball, you just got to tell your middles, good eye work, right? Really, really keying on an eye work. They probably have some percentages. Hey, perfect pass in this rotation. Most likely it's going to go to this guy. So you got to stay true to your scout or make the adjustments in the match as to what's happening. But you got to be disciplined as a blocker, and that starts with good technique and good eye work.
Is the biggest key for Carthage to stay disciplined in serve receive, because it seems like their offense has only gotten in trouble when they've been tossed out of system.
So it's easier said than done, right, with Springfield serving. But if Cohen can get his hands on as many balls as possible, that's going to lead for opportunities for Marcus and Voltice. And those guys have done a really good job taking advantage of those opportunities. But Springfield hasn't made it easy, really dialing up the service pressure later in this match.
And the energy here has hit another level. We've seen a number of what I am sure are Carthage student athletes removing their shirts, and we've got a lot of rally towels, so to say, here in the gym tonight.
It's really hard to contain the excitement to the stands. It's starting to spill over a little bit, and just getting rowdier and rowdier as we go here.
Marcus, jump serve, catches the tape. York passes. Backside to Anderson, dug by Marcus. McNulty with the one-hand set. Dug out, kept alive with some clever net play. Out to Schmidt, short roll, picked up by Robles. Lilly all the way out to York. York short tip, picked up by Boltice. Out of system set from Slavinsky. Rolled again, dug by Lilly. Robles with the bump set going high. Anderson off the block, and Evan, Jarrett Anderson is as reliable as a Costco rotisserie chicken.
Always good, always fresh, always hot.
And I don't think it ever costs more than $4.99.
Absolutely. Hey, in that rally, we saw roll shot, roll shot, roll shot. Anderson was having none of it. He got an opportunity to swing. He said, I'm going to end it.
20-20, Parker serves, finds Weeder. Slavinsky's pick! Oh my word, if Chris Parker doesn't have a few tattoos already, he's got one on his chest now that says Molten.
What an absolute bomb from behind the 10-foot line.
There's a lot of noise in this gym. We have the headsets on, and I still heard the impact of the swing and the dig.
A lot of oohs in the crowd.
McNulty floats high, Brandow handles. Backside to Anderson, splits the block, Cohan shovels it over with one hand. Another offensive run, out to York, outside hand to Weeder used, knotted up at 21.
Really, really good rally. We haven't seen Springfield's middle get set in quite a while, so let's see if the Carthage middles pick up on that, or Springfield turns the tide and gives those guys maybe the ball in transition. Anderson back to serve, misses last two.
4 passers in there.
No.
That creates a little pressure, maybe trying to be too precise, angling for that far sideline.
As good as he's been behind the service line today, that's 3 missed serves and 3 opportunities for Anderson. Very uncharacteristic of him behind the service line.
Just cuts it a bit too wide. Schmidt at the line.
In.
Sends his one deep, Evan. We don't have the right angle. Our line judges are right there. I had it long. And we are not up at 22. In our gym, we run a drill called Big 3. The score is 22-22, and you've got to put 3 points in a row. The side-out team always goes up 23-22. And that's exactly what these teams look to do here. Slavinsky runs an inside route, splits the block of Lilly and Reynolds. They now lead 23-22.
We go games from 22. It's all knotted up. You got to score points in order to win at the end of the set, right? So in my gym, we don't count errors on the other side. You got to earn your own points down the stretch. No tips, no easy rolls, no soft serves. Go out there and win your points at the end of a match.
The volume in the gym reaches another level. Float serve from Gavin. Backside to Anderson. Swing finds the net. And we have match point for the Firebirds after Anderson's error.
We haven't seen Anderson hit a ball in the net, I don't think, all night. What a break for Carthage. Timeout, Springfield. This gym is about to burst at the seams.
Springfield trailing 22-24. Carthage 1 point away from a national title. Last year, Carthage won the national title in front of a few parents down in Salem with our COVID restrictions. Now they have the chance to do it in front of 2,000 plus members of their school and Kenosha community. If you're Coach Kiekefer, what are you telling your guys right now as they prepare for maybe one of the biggest moments in their career?
Probably just to stay calm, looking at the matchups. Hey, you know, they can't get ahead of ourselves here, right? But again, going down the stretch, you got to earn your points. If we get an opportunity, we get a positive touch on our block, we need to go out there and get a good touch and swing away, right? It's going to be difficult to score this last point, so go out there and be aggressive.
Springfield in rotation for both Brandow and Anderson in the back row. What are the chances we see a ball to York or one of the middles versus a Brandow pick here?
I would say if we get a good pass, it's going to go right back to Anderson. Not afraid to use Brandow either. A little bit difficult. Yeah, he's in front row, right there in row 5 here. We could see either guy, but I wouldn't be surprised if Anderson gets the ball again in a perfect pass situation.
We're lined up. Championship point potentially. The energy in this gym is palpable. Easton Gavin at the line. Float serve handled by Brandow. Back out to Brandow. Sharp angle swing goes just wide, and Carthage wins a second consecutive national title, defeating the Springfield Pride in 4 sets.
Unbelievable. What a way to end. Sharp shot from Brandow, just wide. You can see it on the replay, and Carthage is elated.
We talked about this match being a collision course. Some people from the day last season ended. This national championship match certainly lived up to the hype.
I think this is just some great volleyball. You saw 2 teams really battle it out here tonight, and Carthage was just too much to handle for Springfield tonight.
And one of the best aspects of Division III men's volleyball, you're seeing the camaraderie and the respect these athletes have for each other. There might be intensity on the floor. Men's volleyball is a small community, and you're seeing the appreciation these students athletes have for what they accomplished and what they just went through together.
Game recognizes game, right, Rob? You know, the Division III men's volleyball community is growing. We've continued to add teams, but there's still a lot of respect. It's a small community. These guys have played against each other, seen each other for years in club, in high performance, and just a lot of respect on both sides for some really great volleyball.
And you're looking at 2 of the premier programs in the country, the best of the Midwest taking on the best of the East Coast, and just a wonderful season by Springfield despite falling short tonight.
Absolutely. Springfield had a great year, dominated out east, only with 1 loss during the regular season, and played at a high level all year. A lot of All-Americans, a lot of talented players, a lot of discipline, just not able to get the job done.
They have
tonight.
nothing to hang their heads about. Like you said, a tremendous season. Some guys capping off a tremendous career. But Carthage, Coach Key Kafer and his staff really earned this one tonight. There were no free points given out there.
Carthage had a tough road to get to the finals, obviously with some teams in their region with North Central, Dominican, and then having to get, personally my favorite team, Wentworth Institute of Technology. I like those guys a lot. Having to get through them in the Final Four, and Carthage just showed why they're the best team in the country this year, doing it on all sides.
And you're seeing a lot of emotions from this Carthage team. Not only did they grab today's national title, but they have won 2 straight now, only the 2nd program in history to do it, along with Springfield College. Evan, Springfield and Carthage, definitely 2 of those premier programs. How are these guys taking the next step?
Yeah, so for them, I think that it's always going to be a battle, right? Both these teams are so talented. They have so much firepower that it's a grind, right? And we've talked about the growth of the Division III institutions, and recruiting is tougher. There's more programs, and you're just seeing 2 really, really good teams doing it at the highest level. And I don't think that anybody saw the championship going any other way. Great job, as we're going to see Springfield get their awards here. A lot of emotion on both sides. You can see a lot of hugs, a lot of tears. Just really, really impressive performance by both sides.
With the 2nd place team, the Pride of Springfield. Athletes, as I call your name, please step forward to accept your award. Number 1, Nate Reynolds. Number 3, Johan Musa Robles. Number 5, Joel DeCamp. Number 6, Stephen Topali. Number 7, Justin Brosnan. Number 9, Matt Lilly. Number 10, Liam York. Number 12, Paolo Mondini. Number 13, Ethan Wieslow. Number 14, Giancarlo Carrion. Number 16, Troy Von Holt. Number 17, Brennan Brandow. Number 18, Chris Parker. Number 19, Jarrett Anderson. Number 20, Noah Wieslow. Number 24, Ryan Roller. Number 25, Chris Rulo. Assistant coach, Steve Duho. Assistant coach, Sean Ermey. Head coach of the Pride, Charlie Sullivan. Fans, let's have a round of applause for the Springfield Pride, the 2022 Division III Men's Volleyball National Runner-Up.
As you can see, Carthage coming out to receive their championship trophies. Been an excellent run by both squads. Just tremendous volleyball, the best Division III has to offer. We're going to let these guys get recognized and enjoy the moment. We appreciate the support of everybody involved in the
Ladies
tournament.
And gentlemen,
it's been a
now
great
it's time
experience,
to recognize
and thank you for joining us.
The 2022 NCAA Division III Men's Volleyball National Champions, the Carthage Firebirds. As your name is called, please step forward to accept your award. Number 1, Carter Schmidt. Number 2, Nick Cookingham. Number 3, Drew Jansen. Number 4, Daniel Diner. Number 5, Easton Gavin. Number 6, Kyle Cohen. Number 7, Peyton Weeder. Number 9, Matt Slavinsky. Number 11, Gene McNulty. Number 14, Zach Boltice. Number 15, Ryan Kolowinski. Number 17, Andrew Otto. Number 18, Evan Cashin. Number 19, Keegan Brummett. Number 20, Zach Noland. Number 21, Justin Jurdot. And number 22, David Marcus. Assistant coach, Will Kraft. And head coach of the Firebirds, J.W. Kiekefer. Will the designated team members please come forward to accept the National Championship Trophy? Congratulations to the Carthage Firebirds, your 2022 national champions. Ladies and gentlemen, in just a few minutes, once the fans clear the court, we will begin the net cutting ceremony for the Firebirds. Fans, we would like to announce the 2022 championship all-tournament team. From Wentworth, Jacob LeBouliere. From Stevens, Connor Fulner. From Springfield, Jarrett Anderson. From Springfield, Brennan Brandow. From Carthage, Kyle Cohan. From Carthage, Gene McNulty. And from Carthage, Matt Slavinsky. Once again, fans, please clear the court so we can begin the net cutting ceremony.
Scene of absolute elation here at the Tarbell Arena for Carthage College, celebrating their second consecutive national title with their student body and Kenosha community. Evan, have we ever seen a celebration like this?
Just a great response from the fans. So much support from the athletic department. A couple guys just letting it go out there on the court. And, you know, as a team and as a program, you really appreciate having these guys and these fans in this department supporting you in this manner. It's just a tremendous scene to see.
And we get ready to see the net cutting ceremony, and we'll see how Carthage arrived at this point. A huge matchup. Early, often, and all night long, we saw Matt Slavinsky's impact on the offensive side of the ball with runs like his big there. Springfield had answers of their own, often coming from Jarrett Anderson, the big southpaw, going back-to-back with those last two kills. Springfield bench was loving it, but only to be answered by the dangerous Carthage middle tandem of David Marcus and Zach Boltice. Love to see it there. We often saw Brennan Brandow breaking out some big swings, but that one just missed as Carthage celebrates their second national title, and you see the absolute scene of emotion from Coach Kiekefer and that entire program, the student body, and everyone who's played a role in this season for the Firebirds.
The big guys on both sides were as advertised. Anderson, Player of the Year, had a tremendous match. Slavinsky, an All-American in his own right, really, really talented. We saw him dominate for stretches. The guys that are supposed to get the job done today did, and it made for a great classic matchup.
Folks, we thank you for joining us here in Tarbell Arena from Kenosha all weekend long for both the semifinals and national finalists. We'll be back next year again, another great NCAA tournament, this time in my former backyard down in Owings Mills, Maryland, hosted by Stevenson University.
Absolutely. Really looking forward to that. I know I had a great experience. Carthage did a great job hosting us in the semifinals, being on the broadcast with you, Rob. I think it shows our love for the game. Really appreciate everything, all the help this weekend. Just been a tremendous experience.
I've been Rob Wingert here with Evan Giglio. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope to see you again next year.
Thanks.
All right, fans, I need your help. Count it down with us. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You may begin cutting. Your 2022 NCAA D3 Men's Volleyball National Champions, the Carthage Firebirds. Fans, on behalf of the NCAA and our host institution, Carthage College, thank you for attending and for your passionate support of college volleyball and NCAA championships. We hope to see you all again next year at the 2023 championship hosted by Stevenson University in Owings Mills, Maryland. For more information, go to ncaa.com. Have a good night, and everyone, please travel home safely.